All right, so welcome, and thank you to the Center of Light for having us, and especially thank you to Carolina.
Yep.
And thanks to all of you guys for being here. Carolina's the one who got me here.
Cool.
I just want to say, it takes an enormous amount of time, energy, and money to come here. And I was thinking with Carolina today, I do workshops and sacred journeys, and people get what you guys have been gifted because of Carolina and her generosity.
Thank you.
And just to give you a sense of the worth and value of what you're receiving, just in terms of dollars, just the reason, I haven't said this yet, but we were talking about it, we were processing through the investment, the time, the energy, and what it would normally cost somebody. I do workshops like this online once a month for people all around the world, and I get hundreds of people by teleseminar and or webinar, and usually even a 3-hour event like this is usually $50 to $99, depending on what we cover. So we gifted it, but we also do ask for a fair energy exchange to help us cover the costs and the expenses, because I flew here on my own dime, and Carolina's hosting me and driving me around, and her son Alan is so fabulous and wonderful, so patient, and they've invited me into their home, and I feel like I've made a friend with a sister from many lifetimes.
Yes.
And I feel like, as I'm so sure I've known her so many times in so many lifetimes, but this is the first week she invited a stranger because she wanted to share with Tulsa what she learned about and has done in teleseminars with me, where she's paid money to participate. And when I do week-long workshops like this, they're usually, people, for example, I'm doing a sacred journey to Arkansas, and people are paying $1,000 for a week of this. So, it's based on a lifetime of work and dedication and of my own personal work and dedication. And I know I have also invested so much time, energy, and money in this for myself so that I could live a better life, so that I could enjoy life, and so that I could use the gifts that I've benefited and help others. So that's why I do this. I love, love, love what we're going to do tonight. I love it so much. Yeah, I do it for a living. And I do believe that when you do it for a living full time, you get even better at it, because you're not spending half your time somewhere else, investing your time and energy and life force and other things and getting distracted by it. So my full-time dedication is to this service, to this work, to this mission. And like I said, I love it, I'm dedicated to it, but I'm also having to pay my bills just like everyone else and put food on the table. So I think it's important to acknowledge that, because energy, I became aware that my guidance is saying to really start emphasizing the value of this more. Because sometimes we tend, in the spiritual community, we have belief systems. Many of us have been nuns and priests and healers for many lifetimes. Whether we believe that or not, most of us have been developing these skills and gifts for eons of time. And we come from belief systems where it's supposed to be free, but by doing that, we actually devalue it. And we make it impossible for healers and intuitives to succeed with that belief system. And then we put our humanity in a state of ill health because we value money above service, or we value doctors who are working with limited capacity, very limited, over healers who are working with source consciousness. And we don't understand why we can't get healed, because we're investing in the wrong things. Wrong being a relative word. And I realized in order for me to continue to do this work, I myself must start to really be more conscious of how valuable it is, and start talking about that more in a way that we can all receive, because healers are walking around with these belief systems like we have to do it all for free, and that's starting to work to our detriment in many cases. And so business people like Carolina, who also wants to do it for free because she loves it, we end up wondering, like, how are we going to fill up our gas tank? Like, that's crazy. That's not our issue. But I'm saying people have that. And then they don't know, like for those of you who are in jobs that you don't like, it's like you're doing it for the money. I call that the prostitute archetype. I'm not the only one who calls it that. It's where you're working for the money, but not for the joy of the work, because you think you have to work for the money. But that's because we're undervaluing these services. So, all right. Okay, so who's brand new to me? Raise your hand. Brand new. Oh, wow, lots of you. Okay. All right, I don't want to tell so much of my story because then at least half of you have heard it before. The ones who are not new, raise your hand. Yes, that's almost half the room.
Yeah. Go ahead and tell your story.
Please do a thumbnail.
I try to do a thumbnail version, so I'll speed through it a little more. So, out of college, that's where my story kind of starts. I was debt-free, happy college kid, graduated from Boston University and went into, I had my first true manifestation experience was where I wanted to work for Ogilvy & Mather Advertising, top ad agency in Manhattan, and everybody told me it's impossible to be an ad exec out of college at Ogilvy & Mather, that you have to start in traffic. And I was like, no, I'm doing it. And I just went for it, and I got it. But the first week I walked into corporate America out of college, I remember the very first week, I was like, is this it? Like, this sucks. And I remember bitching to the senior executive there, I don't know how I'm going to make it through a life wearing stockings. And I mean, you don't do that. But what was I didn't know. Anyway, flash forward 20 years later in corporate America, I became a good slave. Hamster wheel of life. And what happened was, in order to survive through misery, I think it's misery. I think our society is a slave race, slave society, and we don't know it. I mean, it's slavery. Even if you love your job, yes, some of us do, and here we know. Even if you love your job, there's days you don't want to go in, but you have to somehow get permission or doctor's notes or call someone up, or you can't take, even if you need more than one day off. It's just crazy. It's a crazy slave society. So, okay. After 20 years, in order to function in that reality, I started smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day, drinking 8 beers a day, 2 pots of coffee through the day to get through the day, spending excessively. I had like 6 credit cards and $150,000 in credit card debt after 20 years. I graduated debt-free, no debt from college. Generous parents. And yeah, I mean, I was suppressing in the work world because I couldn't speak my truth. You have to just, follow the hierarchy. And, you're a good slave. You can't speak up. Yes, okay, yes, no problem. That's the orders. You take orders. So my thyroid was off. My hormones were completely off. I went into early menopause, way too young. My hair was falling out. My body was just a wreck. I was way overweight, 65 pounds overweight. This is what happened. 20 years of crying every night. I would literally cry. I would go into panic fits on Sunday night. How am I going to survive through the week? Anyone know that story similar? Yeah. Are you still doing it?
No, I retired in December.
Good for you. Congratulations. So, I mean, but, I'm not like, there's no exception. Like, humans are going through this every day. Humans are going through this kind of stuff. And they just accept it as this mediocre lifestyle we've come to accept on planet Earth. Mediocre living. And anyway, my brother died. So, flash forward. My brother dies of an unexpected drug overdose, and I start hearing him. And he's a New Yorker. I was raised in New York, and he had this heavy New York accent, but he's really funny and charismatic, and he used to be like, "Ela, it's your dead brother Jeff." I could hear him. And I just thought I was crazy, because I never heard anyone from the dead before. And anyway, so I started playing with the voice, like testing it, engaging with it, but not prove it to me testing, more like, I don't know if this is real or not. Can you give me some evidence? Like, can you help me to know if this is real? So I started playing with that kind of game, like show me this, show me that, prove, do this, do that. And I kept making the tests harder and harder, and eventually it just became impossible to ignore, right? I realized there's no way. Validation after validation after validation. Eventually, the book he gave me, the book of Key West, the last time I saw him sticking out of the bookshelf, a CD he gave me from a band called No Doubt that I never listened to is one morning on the floor. That was really weird. And the final test was like, I'm walking down the street and I'm thinking in my head about everything going on and the weirdness, and I hear, stop, look up, stop. I'm looking at the street as I walk, look up. And his dog's name was Herkimer. I had never heard of a Herkimer diamond. I never heard of that. And I remember that was like the final test. It's impossible to see that name. That will never be revealed to me. Like, I never even knew what a Herkimer diamond was. And I look up and I see Herkimer Diner. And I thought, that's it. That's it. So I start paying attention to the voice of my brother. And I start also looking, because I could somehow see him in my mind. I could see lights and flashing things. And in my inner mind, in my inner eye, I could see things that I wasn't really generating. You know, I was just looking to see what I could see. And I would get the connection of his voice with images started to make some sense. I started following this guidance. And basically the message was, you need to quit this job. You need to change what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to end up like me. And I took the message. And meanwhile, I'm going through like a midlife crisis in a way, pre-midlife crisis anyway, because I was just so miserable. I'm like, is this, my brother died, is this what life is about? Like I could just end up, I knew it in a way. So there's a lot of, the whole thing of the 20 years in corporate America, my big mantra was I want God to be my boss. And I wanted to help animals. I wanted to be of service to animals on a global scale. And I didn't know what that meant. I loved animals. I didn't understand that humans are animals. And when I later came to learn from listening to animals, what they would say was always, you're going to need to help the humans to help us. If you want to help us, we'll recruit you to do our work. Because we're here helping the humans. They're the ones who need the help. So I quit my job. I became a dog trainer. Dogs start talking to me. I start getting really telepathic. I'm developing all these gifts. And my husband then, at that time, divorces. And he's like, you're getting a little too happy. That's not going to work. And you actually think you can go off all those pharmaceutical drugs. I think I skipped over that part. But I was on like massive doses of pharmaceutical drugs from doctors, well-meaning doctors. But that's the solution. Either cut it out or take a pill. Pop a pill will solve everything. Humans are really programmed into that. We don't realize. We think, I've had people come to me and give me a laundry list of 50 things to fix in 5 minutes, and if I can't do it, well, they'd rather go back to the doctor. Because that's how we're brainwashed, you know, take a pill. So anyway, I told him, my husband, then I was going to get off these pills and quit smoking and drinking. I knew I could do it. He didn't believe it was possible, and he's already dealing with 6 figures of debt that he didn't really think I was going to quit my job for a $30,000 job, and he's paying the bill, and he was like, I'm out. So I moved to Maui. I moved to Maui, and this is like before 2008 when the great economic collapse happened, so I thought it was going to stay that way. But a year into Maui or something like that, I don't remember the exact timing of it, but it was right before that, somewhere before that, I couldn't survive anymore. Right? I couldn't keep spending on the credit card. I lost everything. But anyhow, 2 years later, and I became a healer. I got my Reiki master while I was in Maui. That was my first healing. Any Reiki masters in here? Reiki healers? Awesome. I love Reiki. I don't think it's the most powerful, most effective, but I love it. It changed my life, and it's a fabulous modality. Nonetheless, that cleared me out. So during those 2 years, everything was gone. The debt was gone after 2 years. The credit cards were gone. The weight was gone. The alcohol was gone. The cigarettes were gone. The coffee was gone. I mean, now it's like, you know, so now it's more balanced. Everything was gone. But at the end of the 2 years, so was my dog, Kenya. And I was done. I had what I call a hit the floor moment. I thought I hit the floor before I went to Maui. That was like just the beginning. And, you know, I lost everything. And that's when I kind of came home in tears, completely depleted. But it was all that stuff was taken from me, and I got to start new. And that's when I really started to build my business, and my work. And that's where all of this is coming from. I just say 2 other things about Maui was that I did have an induction experience, which, does everyone know what that is, an induction experience? I don't know if that's my word. I don't know where I got that word from, but it's basically what we might call an abduction experience. But to me, the reason that word came into my consciousness was that abduction is often associated with these negative aliens or mean or beings who, that wasn't at all what it was. This was my star family, my family of star beings who helped me to remember why I was in Maui and what I really came here for. And so what they sort of did was they braided a storyline for me that made sense. Not immediately, but they were able to help me integrate my history with my future version of me, which is who I am, and integrate the two into one, like, so that I knew my future self, I knew my past self, I could unite them as one, but it wasn't really the same being, but it was the same soul. That actually I'm from the stars. Sounds a little crazy.
Most of us are.
Yeah, we are. If we start knowing that, if we start remembering. And then I came here.
Is the word we call it, usually. You have an initiation where those threads
Yes.
come together.
Yes, exactly. So we call that, I call that a braided being, but a starseed, that I was seated here at this time to help humanity awaken. And that was one of the people who was willing to sit at the front of the line. So anyway, that's starseed, right? Have you heard that term, starseed?
Yes.
Yeah.
And anyway, that's what I'm doing now. So, and I'm a light worker, right? So since then I've had a lot more formal training in different healing modalities. Anyone familiar with the Akashic Records?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm an Akashic Records healer, an Akashic Records teacher, practitioner. I love the records. But more of what I do now is just stuff that is involved with channeling. So I access the non-physical realm, angels, source consciousness, the highest, clearest, purest, most perfect divine source, creator of all that is, however you call that, God, infinite love. And I work with this non-physical realm and other beings, masters, teachers, loved ones, ascended masters, angelic beings, shamans who are non-physical, star family races of all different galactic nations, and I just translate what they're bringing through, and I follow the guidance to help others come into alignment with the divinity of who we are. Humans and animals. Make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. So that's my story.
And you're sticking to it, right?
Yeah. All right, so that's what we're here for today. So all right, so what we're really talking about now is the shifting of consciousness and the evolution of humanity's consciousness, right? So who knows, I know some of you definitely do, but who does not know the term ascension? Is there anyone in the room who does not know what that word means? No, everybody knows. So what does that word mean to you guys? Ascension.
It's an upward movement from
Vibration.
third dimension upwards
Yes.
towards fifth. Right now.
Awesome.
Consciousness,
Yes.
vibration,
Yes.
Revolution too.
Awesome. All of that's true. Does anyone want to ask about ascension? Because I'm thinking that for this group, there's a lot of people who know a lot of things that I don't necessarily even have to teach you or share with you. So do you want to ask any questions on that topic? Ascension? What's
When's it
3D?
gonna happen?
it's happening.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
let me
everybody
address
wants to know.
that
When we're
question
gonna
when.
really know.
Let me address the question one.
Good.
Most of humanity is programmed, I would say by a dark force, to believe that you have to wait. And this is, even if we don't call it a dark force, this is part of what I would call the old consciousness, because we're functioning still the old consciousness with time. And time is a linear concept. Today, tomorrow, next week. So we believe and are programmed, wired into a perspective of waiting. And it's been amplified by this dark force, so to speak. People, beings who want to keep us in this old program. But those are versions of us. So we say, I refer to people, beings, but they are our star families too. They're just other, anyone who doesn't believe they're reptilian. We're reptilian, we have reptile brains, we have reptilian. Anyone believe that when you go into the sun you get burned? Does anyone believe that? Please engage with me.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that is reptilian programming. It's not true, but it is true. if you have the programming, and it is reptilian based. So this idea of time that we have to wait for something is a reptilian type of programming, or even if you don't attribute it to reptilian, it's an old form of programming. Even if you have to wait for your dessert until after you eat dinner, that's a form of waiting. So all this stuff is deeply programmed into us. And if we're waiting for something to happen, in fact, there's a whole force of lightworkers that say the event is coming. Has anyone heard that?
Yes.
That's reptilian-based programming. To me, when I hear a lightworker say the event is coming, I say they don't know that they're brainwashed too. Because there's no coming, it's here. Even when some people tell me, a lot of lightworkers say 5D's not here yet. And I'm like, if you think 5D's not here yet, you're programmed. Time to clear that program. So when is it coming? It's here now. The program, the belief system, and everything that's entangled with that needs to be cleared so that we don't think we're waiting for something. And we don't, and that's something we can do. That's something we can do tonight even, if it's what comes through.
Would you say the vast majority then is into that change already?
No.
See, that's what I meant by this.
Yes, I know. But I use every comment as an opportunity to learn and expand. So there's no wrongness, right? So that, I'll address that too. The way I see it and perceive it, and what I've received from the non-physical realm, is that it's happening in waves. And the reason, there's two kinds of waves. One are waves that are sort of energetically coming into our universe from the omniverse or other dimensions of reality. Those are waves of one kind. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the way it's happening. When you ask, is everyone, is the vast majority getting it now? No. There's first wavers. First wavers are crazy lunatics like me who were willing to be crazy for everybody in the beginning, who are willing to stand up and say, I will work through the hardest, toughest stuff, and then when I'm done, I'll stand up in front of an audience, tell you how hard it was, and that you don't have to go through it, because now, because I've worked through it, I can somehow magically help you, because somehow I have the Creator in me. That's a first waver. First wavers, in my opinion, and everything I know, we're all online, fully awakened. When I say fully, mostly, doing this in some way, shape, or form, in a professional way or semi-professional, somehow, some way, already doing it publicly in service by 2011. They were all awake, aware, doing this work. I understand that's why I had to be in Maui before 2011 to get activated and to be ready. I was already building my business prior to that. That's a first waver. And first wavers, if you talk to a first waver, they're out there. They're on YouTube, they have businesses, they're healers, they're actively engaged doing this work. They don't come from a perspective of, I believe, I know. I don't have any doubts about what I'm talking about. I know. And it seems like almost a little arrogance, but it's not. It's just that knowing. When you know, you know.
They're
Okay.
plenty not doing it publicly, by the way.
Yes, that's true. Those are way showers, light workers. And grid workers. And they go all around the world, but they were online doing this work prior to 2011. So they're out there, and they're doing the work. If it's a first waver, they've been doing the work. In fact, the earliest first wavers, does anyone know who they are?
Mm-hmm.
Who?
I think David Icke is one
David
of them.
Icke's the first waver, yeah. I would call David Icke even more like a pre-scout.
Right.
Wayne
Absolutely, a
Dyer, they even
pioneer.
came, they had to fertile the
pioneer.
soil. So there's
Yeah,
still
Wayne
more
Dyer.
left analytical brain, right?
How about
Left
Jane Roberts?
analytical brain, but still, they're like a different category, but yes, first wavers. But I was talking about the really famous ones. I mean, he's famous.
Esther Hicks?
Esther Hicks, great
He had some good
example.
stuff.
But let's
He
talk
was a
great
MLK, JFK,
Yeah.
Gandhi,
Absolutely.
Bob Marley. These are first wavers.
Yeah.
And John Lennon,
Oh, yeah.
right? So most of them were murdered.
Yeah.
taken out of power because they were so public. This is why, as you say, you are right, many of them are not famous or out in center because first waivers were kept secret after that first round of the earliest in the 60s were rising because it became aware, like, if a first waiver is too public too soon, they could be taken out.
They did it through songs and through
Yes.
different poems and through books.
Yes,
and through-
because the real plan for humanity
Beatles.
was to be fully activated, when you say when, by 2012. And 9/11 set us back on purpose, and other sabotaging forces. Of course, that's aspects of us. We're not in blame here. We're just noticing what there is to be conscious of. So anyway, that's first wave. The way I see it, to continue answering your question, there's a second wave of people waking up. And second waivers are coming online post-2012, pre-2020. If we put it in a linear way, that's my knowing and sharing. Now, let's make this clear. First waivers are not better than second waivers. Second waivers are not better than third waivers.
They just are.
It's different jobs. What that unique soul, as an individuated being, was capable of. What, for me, I know my greatest gifts involve what I do. So because I had developed these gifts in this lifetime and others, the gifts that I needed, that were already things I developed through lifetimes, I could use those gifts and show up in the highest and best way as a first waiver. But second waivers, they're like intermediaries between first waivers and third waivers. So they have unique gifts that they are able to bring forward. It's the service we offer. And wait, can I hold that for a second?
Sure.
So second waivers are coming more fully online now. And they're walking in the mainstream too. Taking these gifts and translating them for third waivers. Because third waivers are the ones who have to anchor in the fort. They have to hold down the fort, which is the old way of doing things. Now, I personally would never want to be a third waiver. I'm a truther. I cannot stand being unconscious. But third waivers do it fabulously. They hold down the banks, McDonald's, the libraries, the institutions. Yes, those are collapsing because we're getting ready to let them go. But without them doing that service for us, we would have all gone insane a long time ago. We need third waivers. They're not worse than us. They're doing, in a lot of ways, the hardest work there is, staying unconscious. Being willing to be sick and help us to discover new healing things and all kinds of things. There's no better or worse here. I'm not even implying that. I'm simply implying different jobs for different people based on where their souls are and what they were willing to do or resolve or what their part of the puzzle is. And even if you think of waves, where does one wave begin, merge with another? Where does one wave end? It's not even a linear story. I'm just explaining it because this is how I teach it, that way. But you take it into your discernment. Waves are just merging, flowing, one person wave. It's like dominoes too, but it's not so linear. So, okay, I hope that answers a little bit, or addresses when does it happen, because it's all happening now, and it's waves. And then we've got these other waves that come in from the non-physical realm and from other dimensions and other galaxies that we've not been conscious of. And those waves bring these energies. They happen at portals and gateways, which I can explain that too. For example, we have just yesterday or the day before, the 21st, which is solstice. That's a portal. That's a major window when these waves of energy from the non-physical realm are amplified. They trigger people to wake up and to ascend. We always know those portals or windows are always also double and triple numbers in the dates. Lightworkers, numerologists, we know that. It's wired into our DNA to know, this is intense. 12, 12, 12, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 12, 12, 1, 1, 1. You know, those are all, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we know on those kinds of days, and also eclipse windows, big windows. We have an eclipse coming up in July. Eclipse window, eclipse season. Those eclipses are basically asking the collective, let go of something, bring something new in, anchor into a whole new reality. So this is why the when programming it's helpful to understand that. I hope that helps answer that, because it's an awesome question. It's awesome to bring it up. I hope that helps us to understand the when of it. It's when we're each unique ready. And as it's triggered by waves and different people, places, experiences, it's all part of the wave-like experience of the waking up. But just to go back to the programming, we have unconscious programming that we have to clear. Because in this old reality, we're unconsciously functioning, and one of them is this kind of like wait and see. I mean, haven't you ever said, I'll wait and see. I gotta see. I'll wait and see. When this happens, I'll be happy. That's that kind of programming, the waiting game. And that's a third dimensional. Okay, did you want to ask a question?
I was just needing clarification about the significance of 2011.
Well, 2011 was the final wake-up call for the first wavers. That was when first wavers knew, this is not a joke. This is not a game. This is real. So it wasn't really significant for anyone else because they weren't really awake yet or fully conscious of it yet. But for first wavers, I mean, I remember meditating. I remember the day, I remember exactly where I was, exactly what I was doing, and I remember being like, I have never felt this kind of peace in my whole life. Lightworkers were online. We were all synced in. We were in vibrational harmony with one another. So even after that for years, people were like, oh, the masses aren't united. But no, Lightworkers were already united. We were already synced up, heart center, in heart coherence. I mean, that was like one of the most peaceful days of my whole life. I mean, up until that point, for sure. I was blissed out. I spent the whole day like, oh my God, could it always be this good? So, yeah. All right, what other questions about Ascension? Who knows what 3D, who can tell me what 3D is? What's 3D? How do we define 3D?
The dimension of choice.
Old
Yes.
holograph. It's an old paradigm.
Yes.
Old consciousness.
Yes.
Old programming.
Yes.
Old energy, very heavy, very unawake. Very much, in every sense of the word, not healthy for our highest good, our food, our programming, the addictions that we had in that mentality.
Yes.
The way that the world is so corrupt.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. It's an old paradigm.
But it was a learning experience.
I think that's a program too. But I do agree with
Do
you.
you?
Yes,
Okay.
because in this old paradigm, we believe we have lessons to learn.
I see.
But in the new paradigm, we have choices to make. Whoever said choices over here? And in the old paradigm, we made choices. We were completely unconscious because we were playing the game of victim. So I didn't make the choice to get cancer. I didn't make the choice to get hit by a car. I didn't make the choice to have a divorce, whatever. But here, we become so conscious, we're like, oh, that's not something I'm choosing anymore. And I understand the vibration of that. So now I'm going to choose something new based on consciousness, frequency, energetic, and vibration. But here's how I describe 3D. I describe 3D as a physical experience based in unconsciousness that Creator wanted to have or chose and needed us as aspects of creation to play out unconsciously, because Creator could never do that without the unconscious programming, without the denial, without the ignorance, because it is pure love, pure consciousness. So how could it have that experience, or all those experiences of 3D, without becoming unconscious? So therefore we, who embody Creator, chose to serve Creator as unconscious beings, to have experience, to expand consciousness through the experience of unconsciousness. Creator could never have that, because it's fully conscious. So He created us
Why did Creator want it then?
To expand consciousness.
To know itself.
Yeah.
It's
To
hard
expand
to
it.
believe that from your perspective, because you're operating from a perspective that's over here. I don't mean it, it's not an insult. Let's just be real. I'm really real. Like, when you have Creator's consciousness on this, you understand. Creator wanted to expand its experience. How can it expand its experience unless it could become unconscious?
Without us.
It can't be unconscious. It is full conscious, pure consciousness. Now, how can it expand its experience if it's conscious of all things, everything, everyone, everywhere? It is conscious of everything, all things, everyone, everything, everywhere, all at once. How can it possibly expand its experience? How? Only through unconsciousness. Therefore, it had to create itself as completely unconscious to have more experience. So I don't really believe the learning lesson thing. That's why. Because I just think it's about
I'll
expanding
rephrase that now.
consciousness.
I'll just rephrase that tiny word now.
But let me say why. Because what happens as creator beings, if we believe we're meant to learn things, unconsciously we recreate experiences
I see.
to learn something new. And I personally am tired of learning new things. I personally would like to experience new things that are way more enjoyable, way beyond any kind of joy that I have not, in my personal experience, had enough joy in my lifetime. I've not personally had enough happiness for me.
Right.
I personally have had an experience, if I go to my story pre the recent years, I had a lot of pain.
Right.
I had a lot of misery, a lot of suffering, because I was unconscious. I didn't know how to change it. I was searching. I was trying. And I learned a lot of lessons. But you know what? I don't really freaking care about learning lessons. I want to enjoy my life.
Yeah.
That's right.
I want to be fully and completely, as much as I can, experiencing rich, deep, fulfilling love, happiness, joy. And yes, I want to serve and support others in similar kinds of experiences, in experiences that fulfill them, that create more enjoyment, more pleasure. I don't need to learn another freaking lesson. But I would like to access more consciousness from the Creator, because it's all, to me, full of all that joy and love. So learn another lesson? No, thank you. I kind of associate, I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with learning, because I like learning. I love learning.
I get learning
I'm a
from
voracious
experience.
learner.
I don't
Yes.
see the line. I don't see the line between the two. They're the same to me.
Well, that's true. You're right. You're absolutely right, Allie. There's no wrongness in learning. It's just that a lot of this experience is associated, we tend to make associations a lot of times with lesson learned. And we do create, a lot of times, we learn pain is a great teacher. Suffering is a great teacher. So we learn through our suffering. And what I'm suggesting is, we can still learn, but let's learn through joy. Let's learn through love. Let's learn through abundance. Let's learn through prosperity. Why do we have to learn about suffering and pain and lack and limitation?
But isn't that expanding the Creator?
Yeah, now we're going to expand Creator in a whole new way. That's 5D. We're going to expand Creator's
But if
experience in a
Creator
whole
is
new
all
way.
love and joy and peace and happiness, then isn't our experience to learn about pain and suffering and coming back into that joy?
Yeah, that's part of what we're doing. At what point do you think that you'll be ready to simply experience more of Creator's joy, love, happiness, and fulfillment?
I would love that right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But I think that I've got to a place though where that is more meaningful and more appreciative because of
Yes.
the lows.
Yes.
Yes,
The valleys.
I'm not discrediting
Right.
these things.
Right.
I'm saying that we'll reach a point where we can be done with them.
Well, that's a 5D then.
Yes.
Right. So that's what it is.
Yes.
Some
So let's-
essence of it.
Okay, so let's, because one thing I don't want to do is have like cross-talking, over-talking and stuff. That's no fun for me. But I'd love to hear, I love the engagement. So if we could just do one at a time. So let's just say, let's go back to what 3D is. 3D is a reality of unconsciousness. Can we agree?
Yes.
And can we define the 3 dimensions? Can we, for everyone, so everyone's on the same page, especially for people who are newer, what are the 3 dimensions?
Third, fourth, and fifth.
No.
Are you talking
Time.
about?
First dimension, some people say time.
Okay.
I don't
Oh,
agree
I
with
see
that.
what
I'll
you're
tell you
saying.
why in a moment.
Okay.
First dimension, can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Can we hear things? So sound is a dimension, right? Sound. Okay, second dimension, do we see colors and lights?
Vision, seeing.
I would call it light, because we see and perceive light, and various shades of light, colors of light. So like an X-ray is light and dark, right? Extreme. But we can see great colors in between, and we have rainbow, and we have ultraviolet light that we can't necessarily see, but we know that it's here. That's a dimension of reality, light. Let there be light, right? First was the word, right? Wasn't there first was the word, then there's light?
In the beginning.
In the beginning? Okay, those are the first 2 dimensions. What's the third dimension?
I mean, isn't that from light and dark? I don't know.
So, are you in a physical body? And does your body comprise space, height, width, and depth? Yes, and there's a space between you and I? And actually, when you go to religion, is Jesus somewhere not out there, somewhere else? God is separate from you, but you have to go to a church to connect with God?
Not this
Well, that's what we know, but in the third dimensional reality, there's a distance. People pray to a God outside of them, right?
That's true.
So it's
Isn't that right?
separation.
Separation.
That's right.
So third dimension is space, which there's a space between you and I in third dimension. I'm separate from you. What I do has nothing to do with you. If I hate on you, or America's separate from Russia, separation. That's a concept of separation, space. So time is a concept of space. Today, tomorrow, yesterday. But time in and of itself doesn't really exist. We created that. I'll get to more about time. But so can we understand that the third dimension is space, which is time is a function of space, but it's not a dimension of its own. There's a space between you and I. There's a space between today and tomorrow. There's a space between one country and another. There's a space between Democrats and Republicans. There's a space between women and men. Separation. There's a space.
Countries,
What's that?
states, I'm sorry.
Yeah, states,
and
countries, all of that is aspects of space and separation. This is why it's so easy for Democrats to hate Republicans, because there's a space, they're separate. And, you know, race is, you know, in the 60s, racism, separate. All of that stuff is separation. And all of that stuff is a third dimensional concept, third dimensional aspect. So that's what goes on in 3D. And in this reality, we actually believe we're all separate, and we believe that what I do has nothing to do with what you do, and what I think about you will not affect you. But I can tell you that when I'm having a disagreement with somebody, I know when they're hating on me. I can feel my body shake because they're hating me. I know when that happens. If I've pissed someone off, because I'm so sensitive, and I piss people off, I don't mean to be. I'm just a truther. I say things that a lot of times piss people off. I don't mean to be. That's just who I am. Okay, that's 3D. 4D. What's 4D?
Well, it's near oneness, it's approaching oneness.
Anyone else? No?
I've always heard it's on your way to 5.
Bridge between 3 and 5.
And the
Yes.
music, it's the age
It's
of
in between.
Aquarius.
Yes.
You know, we're getting there.
I call 4D the non-physical realm.
Ah,
Because in 3D, when you're living in the old paradigm, most people in 3D don't really believe in angels, right? They don't really know if dead people are real. They don't really know. They might believe, but they don't know. Because they haven't gone into 4D. So they don't know or think, where does a thought come from? Where does a thought begin? Where does the thought end? If I think something about you over and over again, will it affect you? They're not considering a non-physical realm. They don't know if telepathy is real. Angels are real. Is Jesus really talking to me? How does Jesus really talk to you? How does it really happen? It's non-physical. Time is created there. If you say one day, oh, this day dragged on forever, and I'm like, oh my God, that was the fastest day I ever had. How come it's the same 24 hours over here? Because the construct of the non-physical realm, my perspective on time gave me one experience, and your perspective on time gave you another experience, but it's coming from a non-physical realm of concept, construct, thoughts, beliefs. Where do your emotions come from? Where do emotions go to? Where are they? Where do emotions live? Non-physical. Time is an aspect of separation, but it's created in 4D. But it's not a dimension of its own, because it's like Grand Central Station. To me, 4D is Grand Central Station. It's right, you're passing through.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, what does religion call when people get stuck? What do they call that?
Purgatory.
Purgatory. That is
Oh, yeah.
4D, because you're passing through. In fact, when my brother came to me, that was one of the things he said. You're going to help me. I'm going to help you. And as I help you, you're going to help me. Because I need to get out of here. I can't find my way. He was like, what does the ancient Tibetan Book of the Dead call it? The Bardos.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to pass through. It's Grand Central Station. Where are ghosts? They're not physical, but they're real. Has anyone ever seen a ghost?
Yeah.
They're real. They're apparitions who perceive that they have a body. They can't seem to get to the higher realms. They're still carrying enough density that you can actually see the apparition, even in the physical reality, but they're not physical. Anyone ever have, oh, this is good. Suicidal stuff, come on. Anyone deal with suicide in their life? Okay. Suicidal tendencies, I call that, and demonics. Because it's not you as God. You're dealing with a non-physical being who's affecting you in a detrimental way. But you don't even know he's there. He, she, it. Kill yourself. Drive this car off the road. You're worthless. Some people would just say that's your thoughts. I happen to believe that's an entity or a demonic. Certainly, split personality, you got another entity in there. Demonic if it's malevolent. But where do those beings live? 4D.
Fourth.
So that's a fourth dimensional stuff, all kinds of non-physical realm. Now, when the third dimension and all the constructs that we created in separation as the creator start to fall away because we're coming into consciousness, we're clearing our programming of unconsciousness, we actually have to believe, before we can even start doing it, that something beyond this reality is possible. So you have your third wavers who have no idea it's possible, don't believe it's possible, don't believe in it, atheists, scientists, all that's fine. They're third wavers holding down the fort. Amen to them. God bless them. Thank you for keeping. I still have a bank. I need a bank right now. Not in the future, but at some point. And they are still completely unconscious that this non-physical realm exists of 4D. They're not thinking about where their thoughts are. They're not thinking about their emotions. They're just pissed off victims sometimes or whatever. Having that experience. But when we start to say there must be something better, there must be some way to heal my body, or there must be some way to resolve this issue, then we come in 4D because we start realizing I have to believe something better is possible. But you start off as a believer, right? That's when you walk up to the gates of Grand Central and you're like, I believe there might be a train to paradise, but I have no idea what train track to get on. And I don't know if it's even possible, but somehow I'm going to believe it's possible. Jesus, take the wheel. I'm going to take the next step into Grand Central, and somebody might lead the way. And suddenly, you learn about Archangel Michael. And suddenly, you start praying, and suddenly new angels come up. And now there's a psychic who's like, helping, and now there's a shaman who's helping you, and suddenly you're like, I'm starting to feel a little better. It's subtle at first, but I'm going to keep going through here, because like, and then before you know it, someone's put you on the track to paradise, and you're like, I found a healer that I love, I found some people I love, I found a center I love, I'm keeping going back. And now you're on the train. That's 4D. And then at some point, you get to 5D. But it's not linear because you understand, even when you're in 5D, you're like, okay, I still need another healer. I'm still going to work with, I got to call Archangel Michael to help me with this. I got to call on God. I got to say a prayer. I need a prayer. I need some help with this. I'm going to go to a healer. So you're not like, it's not linear, right? But we're talking like it's linear. So you get to 5D and you're like, hallelujah, I get it. And that's when you have those moments where you're like, I'm so at peace. In this moment, all is well. I'll just stay here forever. Then you have to wake up and go back to work or something, right? What's 5D? That's 5D in a way, right? Yes. Yeah, it's where you start to resonate with these energies and with a whole new level of consciousness that just makes so much sense to you, is so crystal clear that you know. Now someone can come up to you and say, I don't believe, and you can say, fine, I don't care. If you don't believe, I'm happy to help you if you want to hang out with me in 4D, 5D. I might even be able to really help you, but if you don't want it, your choice, free will, fine with me. Because I'm not going to let anyone take my peace. I'll share it with you. I'll extend it to you. I'll send you love. I'll wish you well, but you can't take it from me ever again. I'm not going to get hooked into that. Because I've seen that, been there, done with it. I'm aligned with this source, and I've experienced too much now that no one can dissuade me again. And in fact, I'm becoming more and more of it, that I have so much of it, because I'm with it, I'm one with it now, that I really have a lot to offer others, way beyond even anything I could ever imagine before I got in this Grand Central Station place. Now, that's all I want to do is share it. But if you don't want it, that's okay, hang out there. I'll see you later. You'll eventually come back, because that's collapsing anyhow. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. So over here in 3D, we're basically dealing with experiences of unconsciousness. We're learning lessons. Very often the lessons we're learning are associated with these energies. Of what are the energies here? What's the predominant energy of 3D?
Fear.
Fear. Fear. What vibrates in harmony with fear? Hate. Anger. Conflict.
Shame.
Blame, shame. You guys know it. Guilt, regret, remorse, anxiety, worry, depression, sadness, grief. We can go on. But all those vibrations are in harmony. In order to hang out in this paradigm, you have to vibrate in harmony with that. And that's a choice. It is a choice. It's kind of an unconscious choice, because in that reality we believe that that's all that's possible. We don't believe in a 4D. Even if you believe, you know, depends on if you're going to walk through into Grand Central Station. Make sense? So this reality has a lot of pain and suffering, because those vibrations are painful. I mean, hate is painful. Anger is not a pleasant energy, but fear is not pleasant. And you know, you understand the reason this reality exists is because there are controllers of this reality. Because they're also in those vibrations. You understand? They're vibrating in harmony with fear, domination, manipulation, coercion, control, hierarchy. There's a hierarchy there. And that's how that whole reality functions. And this is what Starseeds really have done. They've come back from the future to help themselves, ourselves, in the past. They're time travelers. We're time travelers. So we came back realizing this is so horrible and painful. We can't let this go on. So let's find a way to help liberate the whole of humanity, to awaken the whole of humanity. And because we know not everybody's all ready, we'll do it in these waves. And we'll assist with these particular points of linear time so people will be prepared. We'll make it really easy. 1, 1, 1. You know, whatever. 11, 11, 11. We'll give them signs on the clock since they use that. 1, 1, 1. Oh, my angel. 2, 2, 2. That's the 5th time I saw 2, 2, 2 today. Happiness uplifts. Oh my God. Synchronicities. And people start getting triggered. The ping of awakening. They start saying, I'm ready to go to Grand Central Station. They end up in Center of Light.
There you go.
Yay. And one by one, everybody's waking up. But as long as they want to hold on, that's fine. There's still a third wave to keep that place in place. And there's still these controllers who are also unconscious in this old reality. And we identify them with names like reptilian, draconian, greys, gray hybrids, mantids. Because they're at that frequency too. But they also are welcome. No one's blocked from Grand Central Station. Everyone. You could be homeless and you can come into Grand Central Station. You can be sick and ill, you can come in. Everyone's welcome. And yes, if you're really still in that density, you're going to hang out in purgatory for a while, but somebody's going to pass through there who's going to help you. Somehow there's going to be an angel. Somehow someone from this side is going to get connected to you. Somehow elevated by you. And through their elevation, that's going to elevate you too, so you can get out of purgatory. Find your way through the Bardos. Make sense? So now we're all in agreement. Are we all in agreement?
Yes.
Third, fourth, fifth dimension. Fifth dimension, what's the primary vibration of fifth dimension?
Consciousness.
Love.
Yes, love,
Yeah.
peace,
Joy.
happiness, joy.
Joy.
So that's why I can say
Oneness.
oneness. Yes, service. Service. We want to be of service. We love being of service. I had some sessions today. I felt like I did great work. I was happy. I could be of service. I do this. I love this. I get to be of service. I get to do what I love. And people sit and listen to me, and they're inspired and uplifted. I see all your smiling faces. I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. That's why I do this. So, all right. Cool. Any questions, comments? How am I on time? We've been almost about an hour. So, all right, 3D, we talked about that. We talked about energy. We talked about vibration. Okay, let's talk about some health issues. Because the health issues, whether it's emotional, mental, physical, the physical experiences, those are still, even if it's emotional or mental, we're associating it with the body, you know, the physical experience of life. That's what anchors us in here. Those things are anchoring us in here. So essentially, those are the things, mental, emotional, physical issues, so to speak, that need to somehow be cleared or healed or resolved, whatever word, vibrationally attuned, so that we can become attuned with this fifth dimensional energy of love, peace, harmony, oneness, service, consciousness. So if there's anything going on with us, physically, emotionally, mentally, energetically, spiritually, that is heavy or dense, that means it has to, that's the healing process. To me, that's the healing and resolution process. And when I refer to the word programs, what I'm talking about is that there's thoughts that we have, that we think over and over again a lot of times, like they start to have like looping patterns, and then they become beliefs, and then they become systems of belief, like we keep believing it, we just, after a while, we believe it, we don't even know we believe it. We don't, it's just operating unconsciously, and that's a program.
It's like you in advertising. You learned that same lesson, right? Repeat that stuff over and
Yes.
over and people start to believe it.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So, a program, some really good examples of programs, we referred to one before, a waiting game. I'll wait and see. When is it going to happen? That's a waiting game. You have to clear that. But I'm going to give you some examples of some other kinds of programs that most people don't know are going on. Really good program, really effective program at keeping people entangled here is what I call divide and conquer. I love divide and conquer because now I'm not in it. I don't think I'm really in it at all. But I have experiences sometimes where I'm like, oh shit, divide and conquer. But I've cleared the program so much that I pretty much am like, oh, there it is. So what are some examples of divide and conquer?
Politics.
Politics, Republican, Democrat. What else?
Judging.
Judging, yeah, divide and conquer.
Race.
Race, gender,
Religion.
women against the men. Yeah, religion.
Rich and
Jewish
poor.
versus Catholic. The Jews gotta stick together because, you know, what happened to them was horrendous. And I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm asking us to up-level to a new level of consciousness. Divide and conquer is a program that operates, and it keeps us in separation. So when we're buying into the story with all that emotionality, the horrendous things that happened to the Jews, I'm exaggerating to make the point. I'm not saying it wasn't horrendous. I'm saying we are so emotionally tied into that. You know, I watch a show, I love it so much, and because I'm looking at you. It's called, it's all about girl power, and it's on, anyways, 3 girls, it'll come to me in a moment. And one of them is African American. I don't even know what the right terminology is.
That's cool.
For that. And there's a whole episode that she's supposed to write into her bio because she's a successful career woman. She's the first black or African American publisher, whatever, her social media director at this magazine, and they make a whole big thing about it. She's supposed to own her black femininity. And I'm like, oh, it's still divide and conquer there. Still. It's so ingrained. So, anyone like sports? What's that?
Based on victimhood.
Yes, that's right.
Rich and poor, I think that's an important one we miss sometimes.
Yeah. So all that's divide and conquer. And you know, when you're getting triggered, Trump, 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 hate Trump, hate Trump, hate Trump. He's bad guy, he's a good guy. That's divide and conquer. Even our sports, divide and conquer. Debate teams in school, divide and conquer. So it keeps us really ingrained in separation. And we have to clear that, because as long as we're playing that game, we're playing separation. And it is a game, even though, yes, it's horrendous. It's terrible that because of the color of your skin, you could be a slave. It's those things are terrible. There are things that happen in this world we will never be really okay with. But in order to get out of 5D, 3D, and anchor in 5D, we have to come into some kind of acceptance and recognition that that's part of the game. And we don't want to play it anymore. And we have to clear the divide and conquer. We have to become neutral and stop judging it, because the moment, just like you said, we're judging it, we're in divide and conquer. All right, let's talk about some other programs.
I'm back on what we were just talking about. What about parents and kids?
Yeah. If
Because it's
anytime
control,
we're in
hierarchy.
separation,
Yeah.
me against
Okay.
you, my side, your side, and there's these groups that are, I align with this group, like even the Me Too
Education.
movement, educate, it's all,
That's huge.
it's pervasive.
I just didn't want it to go unmentioned.
Yeah.
Well, and then
It's important. It's an important program for you right there. That aspect needs. You wanted it to go unmentioned. It has to be noticed because it's important. It means it's working in you. I get it. Yeah.
Money and gay people.
Yeah. Gay people is another example of divide and conquer, and money and the class system as it relates to the whole concept of money is divide and conquer. Yeah.
Well, I have something cool that's kind of the opposite of that I'm remembering, is that the Special Olympics, one kid fell and they all went back and got him and they crossed the line together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's humanity evolving.
Yes.
That's evolution and progress. It's here now.
Yeah.
And the collective's being affected by the Lightworker work and this kind of work. Make sense?
Yes.
All right, I want to give you some more, because this one's going to maybe push some buttons. I like pushing buttons, as long, I don't want you to hate on me, but anyway. Crucifixion implants. So we've heard of the crucifixion?
Mm-hmm.
And we are told that someone died for us. And our sins.
Yeah.
That's crucifixion implant. It instills guilt and shame,
Separation.
separation.
Victim.
The true crucifixion implants, and here's where it gets even nastier, is the only ones who really were crucified. When I say the only ones, what I mean is the whole of humanity was crucified. Because the real crucifixion is a program that disconnects your feet from Mother Earth, the ultimate healer, disconnects you, all of us. We did it to ourselves, but it's an implant that needs to be cleared from our creator abilities to create, disconnects from our divine source. That's a crucifixion implant. We have all been crucified. We are all crucified in 3D. That program needs to be cleared.
Yeah.
And it comes with it all those other aspects: shame, guilt, regret, remorse, victimhood, and blame. I mean, you know, it's just the wrongness of us. How bad and wrong we are. We have sins, and we're so bad, and someone's suffering. It teaches us we're meant to suffer for others. By the way, shamanism has this really big, I mean, I love shamans. I've been a shaman in lots of lifetimes, but they have a belief system that they have to suffer for others. There's not all shamans, not universal. A lot of them have come into consciousness now. But that shamanistic belief, I mean, I've done a lot of shaman stuff in this lifetime where we're like suffering. And I'm like, why? I have a kind of a friend, acquaintance, and he had all these like scars on his body. And I was like, what happened? And he's like, oh, it was a shamanistic ritual. And I was like, why did you do that? And he was like, well, I took on the wounds for others. And I said, how's that working for you? And he goes, how's it working for you? He had such arrogance when he said it to me. Like as if he did it for me. That I'm living a better life because of him. But I saw that arrogance and I realized, oh, he believes he has a program that he's taken on the wound. And we have that, we do. Because as a healer, I'm always healing for ancestors. We did do that. But it's different. You don't have to suffer anymore to heal others. Actually, in the healing journey, we can clear it for our ancestors. It's part of what I do. I can clear it from the bloodlines. I can clear it through all the DNA. I can clear it through all the ancestors. Not me. Source taught me what to say and to tell people how it would do it. And it shows me. Source. I say it because it's not male, female. That's a gender. That's another form of separation. Right? Duality. But nonetheless, we don't have to suffer to heal the wounds of our loved ones and our ancestors. We do have to be aligned with Source to heal it fully, but when we suffer, we perpetuate suffering. Okay, so that's crucifixion implants. All right, what else is there? Oh, there's so many. I could go on and on.
You're talking about kinds of divide and conquer still?
Well, no, divide and conquer is an implant of its own.
Okay.
That perpetuates all that stuff. Then crucifixion implants are another form
Okay.
that need to be cleared. So I could go on and on, but
I was thinking about fame just because.
about what? Oh, I know.
Fame.
Arrogance, worthlessness is another one I was going to bring up. Go on.
Fame, just because I think that there's so many people working and doing amazing things in all different kinds of fields who are really, really good at what they do. Good is not the right word. Like
Extraordinary.
Masters.
Right.
Yeah. And nobody ever knows who they are.
Right.
And I think we have this sense that, you know, if you're not famous, it's not real.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's the one that was just coming in my head, I think, as
Yeah.
you were saying it. Arrogance, that's arrogance, worthlessness. And it's linked into famous, infamous. So I'm worthless if I'm not famous. That is a program. I'm worthless if I'm not famous. It's huge in LA.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived in LA and I felt it so strong.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
wants to be famous.
It's so strong. You know, I'm worthless if I'm not famous. And I only have worth if I'm famous.
That's right.
And it's linked into arrogance, worthlessness. So people, you see this even in the spiritual community in a huge way, that kind of arrogance.
Ego.
A lot of famous spiritual teachers and healers still have that program running. And it's also that false sense of superiority.
That's what I was thinking.
And it's a program. So yeah, perfect example. All right, so I mean, I could go on and on with programs. I'll say this one other one because it's a big one. But aging is a program. So we all have the aging programs, and the thing about aging is it's hooked in to a lot of other programs. So I've been working on clearing aging stuff, consciously working on clearing it for a little over maybe 2 to 3 years. And I do a lot of work on my family, my parents, and my father, by the way, I think he's 85 or 84, maybe 84. And he's running a major corporation. He jogs every other day. I've healed him. One time he had hurt his ankle. I say I, but it's not me, you know. I don't take the credit, but I do take the credit in a way. And he had 3 doctors. He was goofing around on the tennis court. He twisted his ankle and he tore everything here. 3 doctors said, you need immediate surgery. So he was going to leave Florida that night or the next day and go to his home famous doctor. I said, give me 1 hour. I did the healing. The next day he went to his emergency doctor and the doctor said, I don't know what they're talking about. I see the x-rays, but what I'm getting is not that. You're going to be fine. Now, that's an overnight. Because really, you can heal. But okay, where was I going with that? Oh, aging. So anyway, okay, so my parents are, he's still jogging every day. My mother still plays tennis and paddle every day. And she's 80. And he's running, you know, a very successful career business. So to me, I'm working on their DNA. I'm working on pulling all their aging. I'm doing it for me. I'm clearing the bloodlines. I'm clearing and healing and resolving lifetimes of stuff. And I understand that that is affecting his life, their life, and their ability to live long and strong, happy and healthy and well. And they're showing me evidence that it works. They're like my guinea pigs. And they don't even know half the time I'm doing it. Because I'm doing it for myself. You know, like I personally don't feel like having issues with sugar anymore. So when I cleared a belief system that was linked into generations of lineages who believed that sugar had power over them, the day that I cleared that from me, and then cleared it through my ancestry, was the first day ever I was free from sugar. It was the first day of my life. I was like, I can say no to this sugar. I was addicted before that. I couldn't clear the addiction. I cleared addiction patterning. I cleared all kinds of addiction, and I couldn't still clear the sugar until I found that one bottom belief that was linked into the diabetes. Cleared all the diabetes. It's all listed, by the way, in our DNA.
What was that belief?
Sugar has power over me.
Oh.
I didn't even know I had that belief, but I knew diabetes ran in my family. I was working to clear the candida, too. I was working, because candida is linked into sugar, but there's other reasons for candida. Anyway, I'll explain this a little better, but I'm just saying the aging is a program, and I can see the results of my healing in my parents. They're both evidence, in my whole family.
Do you have a class on that?
Yes, I do. All my classes are online, home study classes, which I'll talk about. Vibrational energy healing is a really good one for people and animals. The sacred membership is awesome. I mean, you just get so much out of that sacred membership. So, thanks for asking. All right, so let's talk about some of the health stuff, since that's the topic we're on. We're kind of moving out of programs, because programs, we can go on and on and on, but everything's a program. Everything's a program. Does everyone see this color as blue?
Yes.
That's a program. It's just a program, because really, we're just, all there is consciousness. Holographic experience, like you said, dreaming. And we had to make an agreement that we would see this as a sweatshirt, that we read this as white language. It's all programs, right? And we don't want to clear programs that are helpful and beneficial, but we want to clear the ones that keep us trapped and stuff here. And we can do that. All right. All right, I got a few more minutes here before we take a break. So, yes.
Do you mind if I give 2 examples real quick?
Yeah.
I broke my 5th metatarsal several years ago. And the toe, the metatarsal here and this on the outer foot. And I went to the orthopedic doctor, and of course this is a longer story, and he said, well, you know, you're going to probably have to have surgery on that, and it'll take 8 weeks to heal at your age. Boy, that really, you know, made me upset because he said that. And I said, okay, and I thought, no, he's not right. It healed in 4 weeks.
Yes.
Completely.
Why do doctors act like psychics?
I don't know.
They don't want to be sued.
Then they did an endoscopy on me and said I had Barrett's esophagus. And that can go into cancer. It can be serious. And they told me to take antacids, Nexium, Prilosec, all those things. And I'm a naturopath, and I knew to take the opposite. So I took hydrochloric acid, and I go back a year to a different doctor, but they had the pictures from the previous year.
Yes.
And I had worked on myself mentally and taken the right hydrochloric acid. He said, there's no evidence of it.
Yes.
So in a year.
Yes.
So there's a lot of things we can do if we just know what to do.
Yes. We're all healers. And it's not going to be long now. By 2020, every human, I mean, the 3rd waivers will start waking up, but all 1st waivers and 2nd waivers, I don't think it's even going to take that long, but that's my awareness of linear time now. All 2nd waivers will be fully engaged, and everybody's going to be a healer. Therefore, to go to the linear time story, which linear time is always changing and always fluctuating, and consciousness is always shifting and changing, but an evolution is speeding up, because as we all wake up, it speeds up even faster, but the future does not include sickness or illness at all, and that's not far away at all.
Yay.
Yeah, because we're all healers. And it's so easy to heal, actually. It's the easiest thing. Being sick is way harder. Way harder. So, all right, so let's talk about a few more things before we, in 5 minutes, I think we'll take a break. Maybe it might go a little longer, but anyway. The illness, let's talk about illness, whether it's emotional, mental, physical, energetic, whatever. All illness, what's the root cause of all illness?
Fear, anger.
Yeah. But what is that?
Emotions.
What are the emotions? Fear, anger.
Frequencies.
Frequencies, that's right. So the root cause, this is like workshop material. This is valuable, really valuable. Deserves to be recognized of the value of what's being delivered here. The root cause of every illness is a vibration that vibrates in harmony with fear. So we're talking anger, resentment, judgment, blame, shame, regret, sorrow, grief, remorse. Those are the vibrations of energy that cause disease. And it's very easy as a healer, bless you, to identify those. For me, it's so effortless. I know when I'm dealing with them. I can feel it. And most healers, whether that's how they're a Reiki master, is working to bring in a vibration of love to compensate for these vibrations. That's what Reiki is. It's attunement. You get attuned to a range of energies, and then through your sacred movements, sacred hands, sacred symbols, sacred work of the Reiki masters and the divine, they bring in this vibration. To the degree that you're attuned to it, you're able to hold that vibration and be in vibrational harmony with that, while this other person is vibrating, or animal, with something else that's not that, is brought and elevated into harmony with these vibrations. That's what Reiki is.
That's what most healing is.
That's what most healing is. That's right. So, when we're healing something, essentially, we're identifying what the vibration is that needs to be cleared, healed, or resolved. Simple, right?
And those vibrations can be miasms from previous generations, and
Yes.
you also have to heal those the same way or differently.
Well, everything is unique, but at the same time, it's all simple and easy. It's stored in the DNA. So the first two strands of DNA store up the records of the ancestors, the beliefs, the emotions, the points of view, the programs from ancestral generations. And it's in your first two strands of DNA. And in everyday medicine, they think you're a victim. You're a victim in this reality is victim, victimizer. That's another program. Me Too movement is victims becoming victorious. They're still playing victim, victimizer.
Right.
Thank God they're becoming victorious, but they're still playing in that program, separation. Now I'm victorious just because I can stand up to somebody who I couldn't before. Welcome to the world of separation. I don't want to play that game anyway, but I'm glad. Hurrah, I want the victims to become victorious because at least it's a higher vibration, right? But nonetheless, in that reality, you're a victim of your DNA. If you have breast cancer, slice it off. All right? Oh, there's another program I'd love to tell you about, which is called Sexual Misery Program. So, gender confusion, Bruce Jenner, slice off the penis, sexual misery program. That's not normal. That would never happen here. I'm not judging him. I'm not judging him. I'm just bringing to light something that we haven't been aware of. Even gender confusion. Because when you're really aligned with Source, your balance of feminine, masculine, you sacred feminine, sacred masculine, you're all of it.
Well, what causes that? I have a member of my family.
A program. Gender confusion program.
From where? Past lives?
From 3D. Maybe past life, probably. But not necessarily a past life. Usually it is. Programs have been running for eons of time. What is a program? What do I mean by that? I mean, you have a computer.
Indoctrination.
It is indoctrination, you're right. But it's like, think about Excel on your computer. You build a program, you build a thing on a spreadsheet. Even when you turn off the computer, Excel is still on there holding the spreadsheet. Whether it's on or not, it's operating. unconscious program on the computer. So if you have gender confusion, you don't know. You're just like, am I a man? Am I a woman? Do I like men? Do I like women? I gotta cut off my breasts or grow a penis or something. That's you're confused. And you're trying to figure it out, and you're working within the confines of a third-dimensional reality to make sense of it, but it's a program, and it's operating, and it's unpleasant. Because they're not happy. Bruce Jenner says himself, now she's, I honor what she's done, you know, now she's, I don't even know her new name, I'm sorry. Caitlin, thank you. It's not, I'm not judging it, I'm sharing consciousness from a higher consciousness perspective. So there's no wrongness, it's just that when you get the gender confusion, you come into alignment with your both of aspects of your gender. You become more gender neutral. And yet you have both sacred, sexy, feminine, and also strong, powerful, masculine. And really, the truth is masculine is just creation, and feminine is just existence. I'm here, all is well. Now I'm going to create something. Right? Okay, so, but coming back to the illness part, all forms of illness, we know that's a vibrational aspect that needs to be brought into alignment. And when we have these issues, they're stored up in the DNA. And then beyond the first 2 strands of DNA, once we start clearing that stuff out, because we can actually clear it, it still stays like a record. You have a record of it. The DNA is a record. But when it's completely neutral, it has no influence over you at all. Nothing more than a movie that you don't even get involved in. You're just like, oh yeah, that's a story. Yeah, saw it already. Not interested. Been there, done that. Yeah, it's just a story. I'm completely neutral. I'm in the sacred neutral. Clear it out of the DNA. But in this reality, they don't know, so they slice their breasts off, etc. Right? I'm just using that as an example. Make sense?
Yes.
Everyone with me? So the strands beyond the DNA, I always look at my arm, but I don't know why I do that, just my style. But the DNA after the first 2 strands, which science has called junk, up until 2012.
We know that. It's not true.
I'm glad you're all laughing. That makes me happy. Yeah, you know, it's dormant. And it can only be activated as we come into alignment. So the 2 work together. Source, consciousness, love, peace, harmony, joy, vibrations work to help waken the person and activate these DNA beyond the first 2 strands. And as they get activated, the person simultaneously comes more into alignment. They're working together. And what's really amazing is all of this DNA, as it gets activated, we all know we're healers. I'm like, oh my God, it's so easy to clear it from the bloodlines. If you asked me that 10 years ago, I wouldn't have known that. But now it's so effortless to clear stuff from the DNA. Now I get people tell me things, I'm like, oh, come on, let's get rid of that. It's effortless, and people have magical, fabulous, fantastic shifts and transformations immediately, even if they don't know at that moment. The next day, they're like, oh, something's better. And now they want to work on something else. Great. Let's go to the next thing, because we've got layers of programming from lifetimes of existence. But it's all in there, and it's ready to be cleared out. And then the rest of it gets activated, and yeah, we know we're healers, and things are effortless, and we're all psychic, and we have different gifts. Oh, I like being light language. I like to be light language. I'll start singing, Source, bring the light language through me, and suddenly you're a fabulous light language person. Or suddenly you're this incredible channel. I mean, I didn't know I was a channel. And that started in the last few years, since I've just become so clear. I've cleared out so much of my own programming and stuff that now I can just go into some state and Source just starts coming through and other beings come forward. Let's get to her, we can get to them. And they have so much they want to do. I love being in the non-physical realm and working with the physical realm to assist us. And they're like, here's a willing person, let's just come in. And as long as I don't let them come through until they announce themselves first. Because I've had a lot of beings try to channel through me over the years, and I was like, nope, no one's channeling through me. And it wasn't until the last few years where I was like, all right, I am so strong and in my container and so clear and pure in this pillar of love and light. I think I'm at a point I have the discernment. And I would, for the first couple of years, I would be like, okay, thank you for announcing yourself, Palladian being, but no, you can't come in. Thank you, Mother Mary, I love you, I will translate for you. Thank you, Jesus, I love you, I will translate for you. Thank you, Archangel Michael. But then after a while, I was like, all right, I know it's you, I love you too. Okay, fine, talk through me. But it took lots of years before I was willing to have that experience. The point is that as we continue to clear, heal, and resolve, we're so aligned and attuned, we all can do whatever we want to do. Yes, there's programming. Yes, there's different ones are gifted in different ways. We each have our own unique strengths. Some are going to be better. Some people are just going to be artists, and they're going to channel through beautiful art. And some people are going to write, and they're going to channel through beautiful write, and that's what they're called to. Musicians, we all have our gifts, whatever they are, that we're most inspired by and to, and how we want to express as creator. But now it's going to be all, to me, joy-based, love-based. What kind of creation, what kind of artwork can I do? What kind of book can I let Divine Source express through me? This is what is awakening within us, and that's what's in those other strands of DNA as they get activated. Make sense? All right, I'll say one last piece about the DNA, and then let's take a break. That is that in the DNA, all of those strands of DNA, and we can go way past 12, by the way, just that science only sees 12 under their microscopes.
They haven't caught up yet.
Right, the rest are etheric, so they can't see them. So we can't validate them. We can, that part is woo-woo. But they're connecting us to other dimensions of reality. It says they get accessed, and as we awaken, we can connect with other dimensions, other beings, and we get to expand our consciousness that way. So we're interacting with other dimensions. Things that we've never been aware of, way beyond fifth dimension. So for example, one of the things I love working with, which I haven't even mentioned here, is the universal laws. And I don't have time to go into them now, but if you think like universal laws, they basically exist on a sixth dimensional realm. And they really won't even work with people directly until you've cleared so much and you've attuned to them. You have to actually have certain virtues. Otherwise, they're not interested. They still govern our reality, but they're conscious of themselves. So when you start knowing these laws and working with them, they actually work with you and they give you a lot of power because you're using them with the virtues. So, for example, there's a law of reciprocity. So the law of reciprocity governs our reality. What you give out will come back to you in equal or greater force. Governs them. But in order to work with it, really work with it and use it, you have to have all the attributes associated with reciprocity. You have to work consciously, vibrationally, with giving, receiving, exchanging fairly, honoring every gift, honoring every receipt, acknowledging it with consciousness. You can't be stealing. You can't be squeezing, but you can't be walking into free centers and thinking everything's free. You actually have to recognize there's energy exchange. That energy must be acknowledged. I must acknowledge the gifts of what that's what I'm working on. I'm like, I must acknowledge what I'm giving better. Because this is not right if I don't acknowledge how fabulous this is. Otherwise, people don't, they just take it for granted. You know? Really. So, you know, and then people will walk into you when you're a healer if you don't acknowledge reciprocity as the real giving of what you're giving and the receiving. You end up broken, homeless as a healer with great gifts. Or if you don't acknowledge, you get people who come to you and say, give me a pill. They don't know they're operating. That's a program. Give me a pill, make it all better. 30 seconds or less. If it doesn't work, healers aren't real. I'll dismiss it. Because they're operating from that perspective. That pill, take a pill mentality. Right? So if you are not working with the law of reciprocity, with consciousness, you'll get people like that who want it all for free for nothing in 30 seconds or less, and you wonder why. Why is this happening? Reciprocity wants you to know itself as a law, but you have to learn, develop those virtues. That's a sixth-dimensional consciousness. I'm still in 5D, but I can access 6D quite easily. I think I know all the laws. Recently, or most of the laws, I don't know what I don't know. But recently I have a whole course on the universal laws in the sacred membership. It's a whole course. That course alone is worth $222. That sacred membership tonight, if you get it tonight, is $222. I don't even know if I'm going to do that. I might take that back. I might make it $333. But nonetheless, because it's on my website, it's $444.
Or 111.
Because last night I went home and I got a really big download, like This is not okay, Laura. Reciprocity came in and gave me like a kind of a lecture. But it's totally neutral. That's not the right words to say it, but that's kind of how I know how to say it. Anyway, I recently became aware of this law of, oh, give me the word, please. It was brand new to me. That'll come, but that's not the point. I taught a whole course on the universal laws, and this one law, it will come to me. It's relatively new. It came to me in the last few months. And I thought, why didn't I know about you when I taught the course 2 years ago? Mm-hmm. And I was told you didn't have the virtues developed. I wasn't interested in working with you yet. You had not developed the virtues. Isn't that interesting?
No.
And I thought, oh my goodness, that's fabulous. It's brand new law to me, so I'm seeing how it works in reality. Fascinating. 7th dimension, we have Palladians, and 8th dimension, other star family races. 9th dimension, 10th dimension, these other beings, angels, they live up there. They can pass through 4D, Grand Central Station. But they don't hang out in Grand Central Station. They just come to interact with us. Make sense? Mm-hmm. All right, so, but all that's in the DNA as we activate and awaken the DNA. One of the other things I do, okay, now I really went over, is what I call speed activations and sacred key code activations. Those are codes that are given to me, particularly during windows. I never have known them, but they correspond to codes in the DNA, and I do them by webinar in these speed activation calls that I do them typically quarterly, where we're going in like keys and locks and unlocking codes in our own DNA. But this stuff is extremely advanced and yet effortless. It's when you've activated enough of your DNA, you start accessing things you never even knew they were there. Codes for us to really go beyond anything we believed possible. It's incredible what's available to us as we are evolving. We don't even know. It's all so wonderful. That's why I say I want to live in more joy and love, you know? Because so much more is available. So I want to share with you these, since some people asked. First, this flyer right here, if you see it, it's just the free gifts. Caroline, have we collected email addresses?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we have. So for people who are new to me, as long as we can read your email, like sometimes, like last night we got 4 emails we can't read, they don't get it. But you have to make sure we can read it, and we will send you some really wonderful free gifts, like developing your intuition and animal communication and learning about starseeds, lightworkers, way showers, braided beings, walk-ins. Those terminologies mean things to you. You get to learn more. And then really understanding about the DNA and activating it. Those are all really generous free gifts that you, as long as we have your email address, we'll send them to you. You know, they're electronic. And you're welcome to take these flyers and give them to other people if you feel like, I love when people share the free stuff. I also really recommend too that you go, if you go to YouTube and you watch any of the videos of mine. There's so much content there. Like I've put as much as I could on YouTube to share it with people around the world who don't necessarily have access to circles like this, or so we can listen to it. There's DNA activations on there in my stuff, and lots of healing calls. Lots of events like this that I've done, because I do a monthly one in Florida, gifted to the community there at Unity Church, and then we put that up online.
What part of Florida? I didn't have people living there on that way.
Jupiter,
Okay.
by Fort Lauderdale, a little north of it. So then the other thing we were talking about was the sacred membership. So what this is a year-long membership. It's got over 100 hours of downloadable MP3s with healings and meditations, and also ebooks. And there's new video content that I'm going to be uploading that's brand new. And it's got DNA activations and energy healing, and you're going to experience some of that tonight, But this is accessible to you 24/7, and you get to own it. And it's got all my ebooks in there. And on my website, it's $444. So for people who have not come to any of my events, I will honor the $222 rate if you register today, for people who are brand new. If you've been to my events, it's $333 with the coupon. And if you register today, it's $333. So, okay. Because, you know, we try to give a fast action for people who are new. I try to honor that. If people are like, I'm ready, I love it, I want it. I'm like, cool, you want it right now? I'll make it even better because I want you to do it. So I give you 200 off, 50% for brand new people. All right, so the other thing is this is the one with all the workshops. So a couple, you had asked. There's 2 schools that I have, aside from the live events that I do, which are quarterly online where we do activations, and those are really inexpensive, really affordable. Like $33 for activations, it's this kind of thing, $50. Sometimes if it's a mini course, it might be $111, but that's typically, you know, something like 4 or 5 hours, 3 or 4 hours. But all the courses and workshops are listed here. So for the evening, like tonight, the 2 classes that you'd probably be most interested in is the 2 on the top under the School of Ascension. When you look at this, and Carolina can help you with it if you want them, but there's Exiting the Matrix, which is all about how to unplug and disentangle from 3D and anchor into 5D. And it's a healing course. It literally teaches you how to heal yourself, how to serve others, how to use it, so you can disentangle. It talks about all the programs. We go into all the programs and all the stuff, right? And the other one is Dark Arts Training and Psychic Self-Defense, which also talks a lot about healing and clearing entities and demons, demonics. It's a healer class. It talks about all the programs. It's a psychic development class, and it's also a healer class. And all of my stuff is really about how you really exit 3D and enter into 5D and align with that, right? So these courses online are mostly $795, like some of them are $1,100. But if you're interested in any of them for people tonight, if you want to register, we'll give you $200 off just to ask. And Carolina can help you register, right? I'm just saying in case anyone wants to get more. You feel guided. Okay, and you can ask us afterwards, but I just figured I'd give the heads up on it. So, okay. So we have about 40 minutes. We're going to do a meditation with healing. And you get to experience some of the healing. And the way we do it is really we just let consciousness guide us. It knows the group. And beings come in. They know the group. Depending on how much we can cover, it can get pretty out there. But we also usually have a chance to like raise hands. I'll be told, tell them they can raise hands, they can ask for things, or else it's just given to us, whatever's meant to come through. So, are you guys up for that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so for this part, please, can you turn off your phones? And there's no recording of this, ideally. I mean, I'm recording it and it goes on YouTube, but it's a gifted, love offering tonight, a fair energy exchange offering, so, okay. And then once you're in it, ideally, if you could stay, because it can be kind of, distracting. So could everybody please set our collective intention, our united intention, that we as a group will receive the maximum benefits which serve, support, and assist us in the highest and best ways for the greatest good of all beings concerned and with harm to none. Can we all agree?
Yes.
Yes, unanimously agreed. So now I want you to just get yourself comfortable. And this first part, it's really just surrendering to breath. So move your body however it needs to move. Even if there's any nervous tension or anything, just let it, whatever your body needs to do to get comfy. And when you're ready, whenever that is, whenever you feel safe and comfortable, you can close your eyes. And begin to start to take some very deep, long, slow breaths. In through the nose. Now, I want you to start feeling these breaths with your mind. So the breaths start to come in through the nose, and they're slow, long, deep breaths. Now think this, the average person breathes only into their chest. It's kind of like this. That's their idea of deep breath. But I want you to breathe down into the belly. So a slow, deep, long breath is what's comfortable for you. And you're letting yourself feel the breath as it comes in through the nose, very slowly, and it goes through the mouth, and it goes into the brain, the center of the brain. And it starts to travel down from the center of the brain through the throat. You can feel it now with your mind. You let your mind feel this breath. And anytime you need to, you can exhale, just let it come out, and then you deep breathe again, and then you travel that same breath, once again, through the nose, goes through the mouth and the face, and then goes into the center of the brain, the back of the brain, travels down the throat. Now you can breathe even deeper into the high heart, thymus, hypothalamus, and goes down into the heart. And this breath that you're breathing actually, it's filling up your chest, your rib cage. And you start to identify, because now your body's relaxing. You're starting to relax, and so you can identify it as love, actually. You're relaxed enough, you can vibrate with love. So start breathing this breath as love and peace. So you're breathing love and peace into the body. Once again, you feel it with your mind, in through the nose, into the face, straight into the brain. Feel the whole brain fill up with love and peace. Feel the body relax as you breathe some more love and peace now down into the throat. And this love and peace is so expansive, it opens up all the throat center. The throat center relaxes to the love and peace, and you breathe it deeper. The high heart, upper chest relaxes to love and peace. You breathe it deeper, the whole heart is surrounded, infused with love and peace. You breathe bigger, deeper, the whole chest cavity, all the lungs, all the upper back, even the arms, the hands, the fingers, they feel love. The body can still move anyhow you need to move it, so it can be comfortable, how it can surrender to love, to peace. And you breathe deeper, and it goes down from the heart. This love and peace now is expanding the whole mid-center, the belly, and all the organs. So love and peace is filling up and infusing the stomach, infusing the pancreas, the spleen. You don't even need to know where they are, but you know inside of you. The large intestine, the small intestine, the liver. And then behind the back, you can feel the kidneys filling up with love and peace. And you know, you start to notice as the body is surrendering to this love and this peace that you're breathing, it's relaxing even more. So anywhere you need to relax, but you're still sitting upright, so you're awake and aware. And you breathe some more love and peace. And now, this love and peace goes even deeper down. In fact, you can see, sense, and feel this love, this peace traveling through the whole spine. And actually the major nerve, the vagus nerve, from the base of the brain all the way down to the tailbone is filling up with love and peace. In fact, as you breathe, and the body naturally circulates this oxygen, and the energy and the frequency of the oxygen is vibrating in harmony with love and peace, all parts of the body now are being affected by this love and peace as you breathe it in, because the vagus nerve is sending that through the entire nervous system, feeling love, feeling peace. And you breathe this love down, your mind feels it. You feel the love and the peace filling up the reproductive center. Every organ in the reproductive center is coming into balance, beautiful balance of feminine and masculine energy, because love and peace that you are breathing, which is now breathing you. You realize how easy it is to breathe effortlessly. It's almost like you're not breathing. And yet you take another deep, full, slow, long breath, and the whole of the core of your body, the whole of the reproductive system is coming into balance. And now you breathe deeper, longer, slower, and the buttocks area is just relaxing. The whole vagus nerve is just traveling love and peace through all, even the extremities of the body. So this love and peace now you can feel it travel from the buttocks area into the thighs. You feel your thighs, you can feel them. And you realize how connected you are to your body. You can feel this love and this peace going into the knees. the knees are even relaxing more like than they ever have before. You can feel these knees responding to love and the peace. And then you feel the calves, they're even relaxing deeper. This love is traveling through them. You're still breathing deep, long, comfortable breaths, and now you're just following it down into the ankles. This love and this peace is traveling into the feet and the toes. And now, like an energy cord of love, it travels through the floor beneath you. Now, there's no way to do this wrong, and there's no way to do it perfectly. You simply do it. Breathe some more love and drop the love like energy through the floor beneath you and through layers of dirt and rocks and sand and minerals and mud. And then it reaches ocean sand and ocean depths. You may see, sense, feel, perceive it any how you want. There's no right way, no wrong way. Through the ocean floor, love is just dropping through you because you're breathing it in through you. And you drop down through empty space. And before you realize it, you're in the center of Earth. No way to do it wrong or right. Nothing in particular is happening other than you're just dropping love into the Earth. And you're greeted by the center of the Earth, which is crystalline in the core, crystal. And you're wrapping this love, the breath of your love, in and through Mother Earth, because Mother Earth so loves you. She is nothing but love in a sense. She is the love of the Earth, Mother Earth, meeting you, the crystalline consciousness. And now as this love is dropping, it's meeting, it's wrapping, it's enveloping, and it reverses direction now from the crystals. This love is coming back up through the layers of Earth, empty space, ocean floor, ocean depth, sand, and dirt, and minerals, and more dirt, and mud, and rocks, and more dirt. And it comes up through the floor beneath you, and you can feel your feet again. You feel you're breathing love, the same deep, long, slow, full breaths. But you feel your feet, you feel the love in your feet. Rise it up now into the ankles. Breathe some more love. Rise it up into the calves. Whole body is engulfed with love and peace. Breathe it up into the knees. Feel your knees with your mind. Just feel. No way to do it wrong. Rise it up into the thighs. Rise that love up into the buttocks. Rise it up into the reproductive. Let the vagus nerve and the whole spine rise it up into the belly. All the organs of the belly center, the core pillar now, rising love up. Back up into the heart. Breathe deeper, fuller, richer. Heart is full. Chest is full of love, surrounded by love, infused with love. Breathe some more love up into the high chest, rising now, even higher, into the throat. Filling up the throat, surrounding the throat with love, truth, center of truth, authenticity, authentic love expressed here now. Breathe love in and through, up into the face, all the brain now. Fill your brain with love and peace. Peaceful love, peaceful knowing, loving knowing, knowing all that is as love and peace. The brain is infused with love. Breathe it deep, full, right to the center of the brain, back of the brain, opening up all the awareness with love and peace. Now reach for the top of the brain under the scalp. So you're just breathing love and peace to the very top of the brain. So you search for it with your inner awareness. You can feel the top of the brain under the scalp. No way to do it wrong. You just feel for that area of your body. Just feel. Your eyes are closed. You feel love at the top of the brain under the scalp. There you go. Nice. And breathe some more love to the top of the brain under the scalp. But now this time you're going to reach with your love to the sky. Reach beyond the room that we're in, towards the ceiling, out the roof, towards the sky. No way to do it wrong. You're just reaching. You feel the lightness. You keep reaching. Breathing love, breathing peace, and go beyond all the clouds. Breathe some more love, breathe some more peace, and go higher than all the clouds, and past all the stars, past all the planets, just energetically connecting with the highest, clearest, purest love available. The highest, clearest, purest peace. Keep reaching beyond all the galaxy and all dimensions of awareness and consciousness, beyond all that is. Somewhere, some way, there is just this infinite love and infinite peace. And your love, your peace that you are breathing is elevating you, breathing you into that love, that peace, the clearest, purest consciousness of peace and love. And there you are. And you just keep breathing this peace and this love. Remembering there's absolutely no way to do it wrong, because all there really is peace and love anyway. And consciousness. You're conscious of yourself, breathing peace and love. Now I'm just going to pause for a moment to connect with consciousness itself and ask, while you're breathing peace and love. Good. So Creator of all that is would like to, at this now moment, provide to you this initial healing, where all densities, darkness, shadow aspects of you existing in unconsciousness, those aspects which are no longer beneficial to you, which are certainly non-benevolent necessarily for you, aspects of you existing in unconsciousness, are now being identified with your consent. Of course, your consent is required. And these aspects will be most lovingly, gently lifted, removed, and dissolved and taken from you and transformed back into divine source consciousness. That you never again need to have them, hold them, or participate in them, because they're no longer beneficial to you, nor are they benevolent. These aspects, once again, will be reunited with divine source consciousness, with your consent, of course. As always, only in the highest and best ways possible, only as is for your highest and best, and for the highest and greatest of all beings concerned with harm to none. Now is the time to give your consent if you're willing to receive this healing. Please breathe, receive, and allow. You simply notice what you notice. Your receivership says yes, thank you, or yes, please. That's your consent with the law of free will. That's what's required. I get to go. Now when you hear that sound, it's just shifting energies. Yes, thank you. And notice, just notice you're breathing love and peace, and you're noticing yourself receiving. Even if you think you notice nothing, that's fine. Just notice yourself receive. Just notice yourself breathing love and peace. In a room full of beings breathing loving peace. And source consciousness giving you the healing. Yes. Archangel Michael stepping forward here now. Each and every one of the beings present here in this room, here and now, have already, in terms of your linear time, been recognized in the higher realms. Each and every one of you are known. Each and every one of you have interacted with us directly. Each and every one of you are ready to sprout your wings in the higher realms. These wings are light wings, etheric wings. In the physical world, they'll be unnoticed. In the non-physical world, you'll be recognized as beings who have, the word I would use in this now moment, graduated, elevated into a lighter frequency. You will therefore be identified and recognized in the higher non-physical realms as angelics. And you will begin to know yourself as angelic. You will begin to experience yourself more fully as an angelic being walking in the earth, in the physical realm. For this too has been the wishes of your own angelic being self. Therefore, if you're willing to open and access and sprout these wings, this will be explained momentarily. The wings are hidden from humanity behind the shoulder blades, left and right. These are chakra centers, very rarely recognized by beings who know and work with chakras. Nonetheless, they are energy centers behind the heart of the physical body. With your consent, as these wings are sprouted, the angelic team of the higher order, the archangels, will work through your circle of light and love and access behind the shoulder blades, working with each of you as individuals to open these chakra centers, energy centers, so that your wings will naturally be sprouted. You give your consent simply by placing your palms in the upward position on your lap. Your palms upward on the palms facing upward, thank you. And each of you will receive a slight activation behind the heart, behind each of the shoulder blades. This will also assist you in feeling less heaviness on the shoulder, as many of you have been carrying too much weight on your shoulder, the weight of the world in some cases. This is part of the healing. If you're willing to receive this, you simply breathe and allow. And you may put your attention of your mind's awareness on the back of your heart or on the back of each shoulder blade, one or the other. Simply allow and receive. Our recognition is your palms facing up. A few moments here and it shall be done. Nice. Just noticing whatever you notice. You may very likely feel a little lightness, a slight breath in the back of your shoulder blade, or you may feel nothing at all. Either way is fine. Metatron stepping forward now. With the palms extended forward and upward, in this now moment each being is ready to receive that which is known as a Metatronic activation. This is where Archangel Metatron, of the highest order, uses a Metatronic seal, which is nothing more than a Metatron's cube, which is nothing more than a form of sacred geometry, which is nothing more than a perfect pattern, which will be energetically ignited from within your palm. For indeed the palms are also energetic centers of light. With this activation of the Metatron's cube, your palms will be natural healers. This does not require you to do anything different than you've done so far. The Metatronic cube simply contains a sacred agreement among all of humanity, in which all of humanity will be affected by those who hold the cube of enlightenment in their palms, the lightness of the cube. This will now be ignited from within your palms so that whenever you touch another being, the sacred contract for all of humanity will allow others to be touched by your light. This will happen quite unconsciously. However, because it is an agreement for the collective of humanity, you will be assisting as lightworkers and healers simply by the touch of your hand. And while there will be nothing for you to do consciously or deliberately, it will be done automatically through this light encodement. If you are willing to receive this light encodement, many of you have already consented. You may notice a slight pressure in the palm of your hand. This translation is completed. You merely need to continue to maintain your palms upright or allow your palms to be placed upright, that you may also receive this light encodement and activation from Archangel Metatron. Breathe, receive, and allow, if indeed you give your consent, and it shall be done.
Yes.
Me too. Indeed, some of you have already received this in past times of linear time. It simply will activate even stronger, even clearer, with even more potency, for the greater good of all beings concerned, with harm to none. Thank you. It's so beautiful. Divine Goddess is coming forward. Mother Mary, Kuan Yin. These beings of love would like to work with the heart center to expand the compassion and the potential for each and every one of us to hold the compassion. Each and every one of you shall be able to hold and embody more of the compassion of the Divine Mother within your body and being. That as you move through your life in human form, that you will radiate out this light and compassion from within the heart center. Simultaneously, more of your inner heart sacred knowing of the divine feminine energy within you will also be activated and awakened from within you with this sacred activation. The divine goddesses, Mother Mary, Mary of Magdalene, Kuan Yin, Lakshmi, Abundantia, many divine goddesses here now, will be working as a group of collective beings in the higher order of the divine feminine, opening the heart center even more for more love and compassion, kindness, peace, joy, to flow in and through your heart center, and to assist you to navigate your reality from the heart center with more heart-centered coherence, heart-centered discernment, heart-centered wisdom, heart-centered intelligence, and all of the greatness of the activated heart center. This is coming from and through these benevolent goddesses. With your consent, once again, breathe, receive, and allow. You simply need to give consent if it's something you're willing to receive.
Yes.
Each benevolent is working with you independently and collectively. Breathing love and noticing. All there is to notice, whatever that is fine. Thank you. Galactic stepping forward. Members of the High Council. Arcturian Command. And Palladians and Syrians as well. Multiples of the star family races. Welcoming here into the sacred center. Many of you in the room already know and perceive yourself and experience yourself as star family races, star family beings. What we would like to offer you here today is to bring back more of your memory, more of your remembering, more of your knowing of your true galactic origin, of the true galactic nature of who you truly are, and of your true star family lineage. Past, present, future, parallel. The totality of your being as a member of the star races. If you're willing to receive the higher knowing of who you truly are as a unique individual, here now recognize each individual has a different linear story. Each individual is a unique individualized being, in spite of the fact that all beings are members of galactic nations. If you're willing to awaken, unlock more of your divine knowing regarding your star family lineage, this would be the time to breathe, receive, and allow, and give consent. Thank you. Yes. As always, it will be reminded, it's only ever, as is for your highest and best, with harm to none. Yes. Now this is really interesting. All kinds of light beings in the room. Almost like dropping stardust on you. Just noticing whatever you're noticing. Okay, we're going to take requests. Good. So, sorry, one last piece Source wants to. This is Source. Reunification. This is a reunification of all aspects of your fragmented soul. That all souls have been fragmented to such a degree that individualized souls have often lost their way. Even though the soul is always connected to the human embodiment, the soul, in many cases, has felt fragmented, existing in other dimensions of time and space, degrees of consciousness. So in this now moment, this soul will be reunified into you, your body, and being your unique soul, and only yours, which rightfully belongs to you, aspects of your fragmented soul, ready to be reunified home to you. The version of you who is the wholeness, the totality of you, the creator consciousness within you. Before this reunification happens, all aspects of you, from those other fragmented parts of you, called home to you will be first cleansed, blessed, bathed, purified, harmonized, and divinitized in the love and light of divine source, creator God consciousness, pure infinite love, pure infinite light, pure consciousness, and returned to you, restored to you, home to you, the unique embodiment of you, what is uniquely appropriate, meant for you, your true self, your true divine essence. If you're willing to receive this now, this is the time. Breathe, receive, consent, and allow. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. I always say I've been doing this for years, and I've noticed over the years, I can talk through this one while it's happening. It just takes a few moments, actually. But I've been doing this over the years, and I've been tracking my progress, and I know now I'm somewhere right around 85% of my soul embodiment, which is extremely high. The average person who doesn't meditate or never does this kind of work is walking around 10%. They don't know that. Yes. It's not something we do just once, you know? We do it as often as we can, whenever we can. Little by little, we reunify. Thank you. It is done. Good. We're going to take some requests. We have a few minutes for some requests. Yeah.
Sharp pain in my right temple and both of my knees.
I'm listening in the silence. Beloved one, this sharp pain as you so speak of, corresponding and relating to an alternative, ulterior, don't know why the word, parallel lifetime, another existence, of trauma. A similar story to others who have had traumas from other lifetimes. Nonetheless, it's also an aspect of your consciousness now, trying to clear, heal, and resolve it from that timeline. In addition, it's an aspect of you thinking too hard, holding on too tight, too much figuring out, asking and inviting you to release. Therefore, both are true. Both are true. Release, surrender, move in more flow and allowance, which you already well know and are very good at. Releasing the need to analyze, figure out, discern, allowing more flow, simultaneously healing and resolving this other parallel reality. Looks like a sincere, severe trauma as it's being shown to me. No need to translate exactly, precisely. Nonetheless, this is what will be done for the collective based on this request. The trauma and the drama which you have contained in your unconscious from this and other lifetimes, that which has been suppressed and or denied and or repressed and or ignored and or engaged in a push-pull, resist-react experience will now be addressed from within and around you, within and around your entire morphogenetic field, all trauma and or drama and all the engagement, all programs, implants, explants, points of view, perspectives, ideologies, frequencies, energies, vibrations associated with this, from this and every other lifetime, including in between lifetimes. This trauma and drama, suppressed, denied, repressed, suppressed, etc., being identified now with your consent. Gently, lovingly, and benevolently lifted, removed, dissolved, and taken away, transformed into love and light, and healed at the history level, at the point of origin, wherever it first began. And this healing will be provided throughout all time and space, in every direction and every dimension, in the totality of your existence, as always, only as is uniquely appropriate for you, and only as is for the highest and best of you, your body, your life, your living, and all beings concerned, with harm to none. If you're willing to give consent, please do so now.
Yes.
Let it be known as well. In addition to this, the healing for this particular request also involves flow. The old reality did not involve an experience of going with the flow. The old reality involved conforming, contraction, constriction. The new reality involves a whole new creator experience of flow, and always being in flow with an ever-present now. This is a solution in part to that which you've requested. Therefore, at this time, each and every being will be downloaded, instilled within you and within every cell of your body and being, Creator's truth, Creator's point of view, Creator's perspective, understanding, and definition of living in flow and being in flow and operating in flow, and that you will have Creator's truth, point of view, and PUD of flow, what that really truly means. The flow of life, the flow of your existence, the eternal nature of your body and being, the eternal nature of your existence, and the eternal nature of living in the eternal now. All of this and even more with and from Divine Source Consciousness will now be instilled within you and within every cell of your body and being and awakened from within you simultaneously. You come into alignment with the Divine Source on this topic area and even greater. If you're willing to receive the gifts of this healing now, breathe, receive, and allow. We get together. Yes. Yes. Nice. Notice whatever you notice. Just notice yourself receiving and breathing. Practice breath work, dear one. This will assist you and solve the problem in due time. Linear, in your linear time, due time, in your now moment, the healing has just begun, and it is done. Thank you. Good. Hand.
Ask for healing from my cat.
Let's invite all of the beloved animal friends and family. Invite your animal companion into this circle here and now. You may invite that friend of yours who lives with you, either in this lifetime or has crossed over, is no longer with you. The only criteria, the only commandment, so to speak, is that you invite your animal companion and no one else's. Yours. 1, 2, 3, whoever they are, however many there are. Invite them in. Here's how you do it. You simply bring them to your mind with conscious awareness and name them in your mind with conscious awareness. Bring them into your consciousness and invite them to receive the gifts of this healing. The channel, me. We'll also identify them in the collective room, as is always within the ability. Thank you. And Divine Source, of course, will be working with them as individuals. We will also simultaneously work with the collective group of the animal kingdom of all beings and animals on planet Earth, including the collective of all the nations. All nations of all animals. That all beings will receive the gifts of this healing. Pause. As you're inviting these animals in, let the Divine Source work with each and every one of them, knowing that each and every one of them has a sacred agreement with you as their parent, human, guardian, family member, and the collective of all beings as a parent, Mother Earth as the parent, the guardian. That these beings shall now receive the gifts of this healing, which is for their highest and best. Source is infinite love, Source is infinite light, Source is infinite consciousness, and the frequencies and the vibrations that Source is ready to provide for them as unique individualized beings for their highest and best, to assist them in the healing journey, even if their physical form has progressed into the non-physical. They still receive the benefits. Let's allow this to be done now. In this particular case, that which is unnamed shall still receive the benefits of the healing. Allow it to be so. Breathe, consent, and allow. Dog. Pinstripes. Cat. White face. Black and white. It doesn't matter. I'm naming more than I need to. Great pachyderms here, and the elephants come to bring in more of the sacred feminine and also to assist with the remembrance of who we truly are. For these great pachyderms, the elephants, of course, in the elephant kingdom recognizes us here as healers for the animals of the earth. Would like to remember and help us remember more of our knowings, for they store up the records of the Akash. That which is in the Akash is also within the consciousness of all the elephants. Let this be awakened more now for all beings in this room, to awaken to more of your own consciousness as gifted from the elephant kingdom. For all the gifts to all the animals are now recognized by this kingdom. They are overseers of the earthly realms, of the animals, and all beings, Mother Earth as well, and the Akash. They gift with them, they bring the gifts, their gifts of the Akash, memory of our true knowings within us. Breathe, receive, and awaken to more of all that you know, the gifts of the elephants here now, and also for the animal companions receiving the healing, so they too can receive more of their knowing. And the restoration also being offered here now, the restoration of the original divine blueprint for each unique individual embodiment of all beings involved here now. The original divine blueprint, which includes perfect health, your ideal and optimal state of health and well-being being restored to you now, gently, lovingly, benevolently, in a perfect and divine way. The gift of the elephants, awakening and remembering this too. For each animal and each human, also an animal. Breathe, receive, and allow. As always, it's your unique divine blueprint. Yours, as is uniquely appropriate to you, be you human or animal, either and or both. Please breathe, receive, and allow now. Oh, good. I get to go. I get to go. Let's invite as well the children under the age of 17. Apologies from my human self. Had to be reminded. Okay, so invite your children under the age of 17. Please, no one else's children under the law of intent, consent, and authority is only legal, right, and ethical in this now moment to invite your own children, 17 or under, no one else's, and not above the age of 18. That is not allowed or permitted in this now moment. Please invite, if you would like, to invite your children 17 or under into the circle to also receive the gifts of this healing. All the healings which have been provided today, which are even those which are done and complete, will be extended to them as well as is uniquely appropriate to them, only as is for their highest and best, for the highest and greatest, of course, of all beings concerned, and of course with harm to none. If you're willing to extend the gifts of this healing to those children, as you invite them in, much in the same way, bring them to your mind and your consciousness, invite their consciousness into the room, say their name in your mind or out loud if you like, and allow them to receive the gifts of this night's healing. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A little more. A little more. Thank you. do one more request. Let's go over here.
Back,
Back.
back and breath.
Back in what?
Breath.
Breath, you can't breathe? Trouble breathing? The breath and the back, two separate issues. And yet, of course, as all things are, interconnected. Breath and the ability to breathe is typically focused primarily around the issues of having a right to take up space, believing that you matter. For if indeed you wholly and completely know the entirety of your being that you matter, of course you have a right to breathe. Of course you have value. Of course you have worth. Of course you matter. But when you believe or perceive, either consciously or unconsciously, that you don't matter, or that you don't have a right to exist, you will find yourself having challenges and difficulties breathing. Therefore, all of these belief systems, points of view, perspectives, ideologies, energies, frequencies, vibrations, programs, implants, explants, associated with these following statements will now be identified from within and around each and every being, lifted, removed, dissolved, and taken away, transmuted into love and light. I don't matter. I'm insignificant. I'm inconsequential. I don't have a right to exist. I don't have a right to breathe. I don't have a right to matter. I don't matter. I'm insignificant. I'm unimportant. I'm not special. There's nothing special about me. I'm inconsequential. My life doesn't matter. Nothing about my life matters. I have no purpose. I have no mission. All of these aspects can interfere with the right and the ability to breathe easily and gracefully. So all of this and even more, with your consent, will now be addressed, lifted, removed, dissolved, and taken away and transmuted into love and light. Benevolent Galactic Shaman, Spirit Doctor Team, stepping forward also to assist, as always. All of this will be identified, lifted, removed, dissolved, taken away. Banish those spirits associated with it which are non-beneficial, deactivate the very life force of them, scramble the frequencies, neutralize the energies, and thrown into the light of fire, the Son of God, to be forever transformed into love and light. That you never again need to perpetuate it and or recreate it, that you're done and complete with it once and forever. There'll be a follow-up to this. Please breathe, receive, give consent if you're willing to have this healing now. Even if you believe or perceive that you don't have it, the fact that you're in the room and hearing this now means that somewhere it exists within your consciousness, therefore your consent helps to clear it from the whole of humanity. Oh, God. Feels bad, it's got to move out. Here's the healing. The follow-up part. Creator's truth, Creator's point of view, Creator's perspective, understanding, and definition will be now instilled within you and within every cell of your body and being and simultaneously awakened from you. The following truths will be yours with your consent. I matter. I have a right to matter. I'm worthy and deserving of matter. My life matters. I have value. I have worth. I am valuable. I am worthy. I have a right to take up space. It's safe for me to take up space. It's safe for me to matter. I choose, desire, and intend to matter. My life's mission is to be aligned with the divine source. My life's purpose is clear. My life's mission is clear. I am clear. I am clear. I am a clear channel for love. I am a clear channel for breath of love. I am a clear channel of peace. I breathe peacefully. I breathe easily. I am aligned with the energies, the frequencies, and the vibrations of grace. I have grace in my life. I embody grace in my existence. I'm worthy and deserving of mattering. I'm worthy and deserving of existing. I'm worthy and deserving of breathing easily and gracefully. I choose, desire, and intend to breathe easy. I choose, desire, and intend to matter. I choose, desire, and intend to know that I am safe and to experience my life with safety. I am valuable. I'm a valuable and worthy being. I am a valuable and worthy contribution to the whole of humanity. My life matters, and I matter. These truths, and even more like them, will be instilled within you and within every cell of your body and being and awakened from you with your consent now. Breathe, receive, and allow.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Good. For this one, dear one, peppermint oil, essential oil of peppermint, carried around on a regular basis. Dab on the heart, dab on the throat, and from time to time, dab under the nose or even on the tip of the tongue. This shall help to open the breathing airways as well. Other factors are involved. The healing is not completely complete. However, that which has been transformed today shall shift in the most amazing and profound ways. Allow it to be so, it is so. The healing has just begun, only begun, and will continue even long after we're done and complete here today. Second aspect, back. This will be the final part of the healing tonight. The back often is associated with two key core issues, often even a third. The first is feeling and receiving support. Feeling supported and knowing that you are supported and that you are receiving the support indeed that you need in this lifetime, in this physical embodiment. That's the first. The second often has to do with your needs, where you put your needs behind yourself and where you allow yourself to deny your own needs. So part of the healing will require you to begin a new behavior, which would involve you putting your needs first, not to the harm or detriment of another, but simply because you know yourself as a worthy and valuable person, and that your needs matter. You have needs that matter in this reality, and you're worth it, and you deserve it, but you've often known this, but suppressed it and denied it, which is why your back hurts in the first place. The third reason, in some cases, which could also contribute to the pain of a back and pain in the back, is often related to something in your past that is healed, unhealed, or unresolved. And this pain will continue to, in your words, haunt you until it is done and resolved. All three of these issues must be addressed, or certainly at least the first two, in order for back pain to be healed and resolved totally and completely. And a change in behavior is required. For now, what would be suggested is to provide yourself with additional healing for yourself, things that bring you support. Massages, walks on the beach or in nature, different forms of complementary healing, and also putting your needs first. Taking appropriate action, baths, showers, water of every kind, will also assist in healing the back. And recognizing those parts of you that denied yourself. Also recognizing the beings around you who have often put you behind them. Or perhaps you allowed them to demonstrate that to you so that they could show you and reveal to you how to put themselves first so that you could learn from them by their actions, you would learn to put yourself first too. Remembering, putting yourself first does not mean to the detriment or harm of another. It simply means to acknowledge your needs and take care of yourself, and in so doing, give yourself the support you need and want and desire, and then allow others to support you too. This consciousness and even greater will be provided to you and instilled within you and within every cell of your body and being. For indeed, with the back, there's much more healing to be done. That said, allow Source to provide to you everything you're meant to see, know, perceive, realize, understand, accept, allow, embrace, acknowledge, forgive, release, transmute, whatever it is, with and from Source consciousness on this topic area, regarding the back, regarding support, regarding pains of the past, wounds of the past, and regarding putting yourself first, knowing that you're worthy and deserving of having your needs met. Breathe, receive, and allow. Nice, fully integrating here now, just another moment. Every time you engage in healing, every time you participate in healing, every time the healing continues, you receive more. Let this be simply the beginning of much more to come, and allow this evening's healings to continue to bless you, serve you, honor you, and allow them to do the due justice, the due diligence they're meant to do, for as has been stated, this healing has just begun. Good, so now we're going to come out of this, yeah? So you're just remembering all that breath of all that love that you've been breathing. All that love and all that peace. And all the attunement, the energetic shifts, the vibrational shifts, and the new consciousness that's come into your consciousness, and that your consciousness has now attuned to. And through your breath of your love, you're just starting to bring yourself down out of this frequency, but it's still coming down into you. In fact, you haven't gone anywhere. You've been in your body all along. So remember that lightness and that love and that peace, and start to feel, once again, the top of your brain under the scalp, and breathe some more love into your body and being. You may choose to start to stretch your forehead or your eyes or your face, and just breathe some more love now into the center of your brain. And feel the brain. And then breathe some more love now into the throat, feeling the throat expand. Feeling your center of truth and safety and authenticity expand. And breathe that love and that peace into the heart. You may choose to stretch a little now. We're going to ground. Feeling more love in your own heart center, more at peace, more joy, more happiness coming into the body. And breathe into the belly. Feeling the center of your own personal power, your own personal confidence, your own personal courage coming into the body as you breathe in this love and this peace, opening that center, and breathe it down into the reproductive center, more balance and union and harmony with your own feminine and masculine creativity. And breathe it down into the tailbone. You may choose to move the buttocks a bit, breathing love and peace into the buttocks, opening up that center, connection to the earth. And this time, travel this love, drop it down, through the buttocks, through the floor beneath you, through the floor, dropping it down, all that love. You know exactly where it is in the center of the earth. Let the love connect with the crystalline connection in the center of the earth, the crystalline core of Mother Earth Gaia. Connecting with those crystals once again, and then just touching them lovingly. And breathing them back up into you, through the floor beneath you, and up into your tailbone. This time now stretching the feet, the toes, the legs, really coming into the body again. Moving the buttocks and the legs. And then breathe up some more love into the reproductive, moving the waist and the hips. Breathe it up into the belly and the back. Moving the waist, moving the belly. Breathe it up into the heart. Stretch out the arms, the hands, the fingers, the neck, the face, and wrap your arms around you. All this love that you have breathed in and through you, all this peace is in you, all these downloads, all these activations, all these awakenings, all these attunements, it's all within you now. And as you wrap your arms around you, before you fully come back into the room, just out loud, just say it now. That which you've always wanted to hear. I love you.
I love you.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
I value you.
I value you.
I approve of you.
I approve of you.
I recognize you.
I recognize you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we do 10 minutes of... Oh, we have only a few minutes left, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I realize I'm over. I meant to wrap up 10 minutes ago. How is everybody?
Great.
Great.
Fantastic.
Does anyone want to share anything? I love feedback. We have a couple minutes for feedback. I mean, not the whole long, but anyone want to say any experience you had or anything you noticed or?
The light, when the light came in stronger, I could just, even though my eyes were closed, I really felt it. It was all above my ear.
Oh,
All
good.
above my ear. It was great.
Oh, awesome. You're welcome. Anyone else? Does anyone feel energetic, like electricity in your body?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That is the best. So if you go home tonight and you're like laying down, relaxing, please, no violence. Violence is not entertainment. News is not newsworthy. Do not watch the news. Do not give your power to this false authority. But drink a lot of water and relax. And if you notice things like what I like to call floppy fish syndrome, it's you awakening. It's that energy clearing the density out. So let it. Just like let it. It's awesome. You should have a really good charge. And this is the one thing I know is that the healing just began. You don't even know how fabulously it's going to affect you. But keep me posted because I want to hear.
Nice.
Yeah.
I had so much, what you were talking about, divine geometry, that's what you said. I had so much pressure on my hands and I thought, oh, it's just, I'm not going to be able to do this. And that's when you said you might feel some pressure on your hands. And so that was really good affirmation because I just thought, this is not working for me. A lot.
Isn't that interesting? But really what it was doing is just taking all that density out of your hands and putting it with light. That's why you felt all that
It was
pressure.
heavy, yeah.
Yes. You dropped a lot of heaviness. You were conscious of all that heaviness leaving you.
I could really feel Metatron's cube too. I really could.
yeah.
It was just like,
It is amazing, isn't it?
Yes, it was great.
I felt like this light. I mean, I've done that activation a lot of times because Metatron shows up to very conscious groups like this. But yes, it almost feels like this light is just like you're being branded with light.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
I could feel my hands just kind of going like this.
Awesome.
Really
I
great.
felt like it was spiraling,
Yeah.
spiraling
Yeah.
around, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I just felt so much joy because of the synchronicity, and literally this morning before church, my astrological reading was saying that Archangel, I can't talk today.
It's all right, you get a little
Metatron, how about I
Yeah.
just say Metatron, was going to be with me today.
Oh,
And,
isn't
I mean,
that
there's
interesting?
just so much, synchronicity here, so thank you.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
I can actually bend my knee, which I could not do. So, I mean, physical experience, other than all the wonderful light and the downloads, but I actually can bend this knee, which I have not been able to do.
Oh, very cool. I do know, it's really interesting based on the group. Those are always different. Sometimes they're more physical healings. It's just based on what the group as a collective is calling forward and needing, and it's always different. So this is what I do, what I was saying, the live events. And as long as you're on my newsletter and in my community and we have your email address, you'll know when they are by telesummit. So even when I'm not here, you still get to participate. And so stay in touch with me. And then if you want more of this, please do consider the sacred membership. If you register today, you can, the 50% savings off the $444, yeah, for new people. And I mean, if you really, really want it, don't let it, okay, so that's got like 100 hours of this kind of stuff and even more, plus the books. And then the classes, if you want to know about those, there's $200 savings on any classes. Okay? And Carol, thank you so much, you guys, for having me. And for having me. It's an honor that so I can continue to do this work and that I can also feel good about how much I give. Because if I start feeling bad about how much I give and I feel like that's when I'm like, oh, what's going on here? I have to continue to feel good about it. That's also really important to honor.
Absolutely.
Right? Not about the money, but it is about the acknowledgement of the energy. So, okay, thank you so much.
I want to thank you all. I want to thank you for allowing us to be here. This center is wonderful. Ruth came from Oklahoma City. Thank you.
Yeah, Ruth, thanks for being here.
So one thing that I wanted to add to this is I hope that if something that you're going to walk away from this event today, well, I hope that it will be two things. One, that we can all come up with a day and time that we can bring Lori actually to do a workshop that she can train us. You can see that she doesn't hold anything back.
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Very given, and that we can continue this progress to go to the next step and continue to evolve.
Yeah.
And the other part, as she mentioned, I wish that each of you, I know some of you guys are Reiki healers, are psychics, you guys have so many modalities, that you step forward and own it and be proud and charge for it. We need to really step up out of this thing behind that we need to hide and just watch when we talk to. We need to honor that, like she's doing.
Step out of the spiritual
Yes,
closet.
and support each other. And when the Center of Light brings any speakers, please come and support those speakers like you supporting Lori, and be generous and thankful. And that way we can grow better, and we can have a better community among us. And I know the Center of Light is open to all this type of work, so take advantage of it and really love yourself with this. And like she said, I mean, that workshop that she has there is unbelievable. Please don't be shy. Sign up for it if you can, so we can bring Lori back and for the time that we can actually go step by step in everything that she does, so we can do it as good as she does eventually.
Yes.
Thank you all. Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.